Mr. Renfield, welcome. I am Dracula. You will make a very good assistant.
No, he's evil. We will protect you.
You have the word of the most trusted institution on earth, the Catholic Church.
Renfield, your sole purpose in life is to serve me. Now, let's eat.
I just want a normal life again. No, 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 no.
God bless you, Mr. Renfield.
Oh, God bless you, nuns.
You're a hero.
Robert Montague Renfield. Let me explain. I work for Dracula.
Count Dracula?
It's the real fucking Dracula.
Some call me the Dark One. Others, the Lord of Death.
So you bring him people to eat?
Well, I do other stuff.
Like what? Wash his cape?
The cape is dry clean only, strictly.
Yeah, I will wear this shit. This fly, yeah.
Look, I don't think he's such a bad guy. But you're never really gonna be free until you face him.
I will no longer tolerate abuse. I deserve happiness.
Let me explain something to you, okay? You deserve only suffering. I will unleash an army of death. Everyone you care about will suffer because you betrayed me.
We have to stop him before sunset.
I am enough. I deserve happiness, and I take full charge of my life tonight.
You know when something crazy happens and someone's like, it's okay, I've seen way worse? Everything I saw you do today is gonna be my way worse.
It's my least favorite part of the job.
Decades ago, the nearby sandy flats of Daytona Beach were a perfect place to test man and machine. Long straights and minimal corners in the Florida sunshine. Well, it became the birthplace of NASCAR, and with it, an entire ideology for paved oval racing when Daytona International Speedway was constructed just a few miles to the west of the beaches in 1959. The night's no different than those days on the sand in some ways. Dozens of drivers going for it all, starting a season-long venture to vie for a championship. In other ways, the sport's come a long, long way. Lit up like the stars, 42 drivers will take the green flag for a 90-lap race on the high banks of the World Center of Racing. Who knows what the season will hold or which driver will hold the trophy at the end of this first battle of the 2023 Area Truck Series season. Hi, everybody. Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn this season for Area Truck Series action. Connor, welcome aboard. Excited to be here for the kickoff of our first race of the season. It's a long one, but we start it at the World Center of Racing.
Yes, we do. We start at the World Center of Racing for every series this week. Already started for the Cup Series. I wish I had a better finish, but it was still a great finish. 3 wide as the yellow came out. Seth Knoll getting the victory there yesterday. We'll see who wins it tonight. There's a lot of anticipation for the season. A lot of new faces and a lot of old faces as well, including the 2-time truck champ Brad Slaughter Jr., who's probably, I would say he broke the system last year. Didn't win until the very last race at Nashville and won that second championship in season 3. But there's a lot of new players at the plate this season.
Lots of new names, new faces, some returning back to area action, some are brand new. How about Dustin Scruggs in the number 22, up in 6th right now? Carter Koop is back this season. Aiden Robertson in the number 53, looks like a new name to me, and many, many more. Dawson Miller, Carter Hayden in the number 99 is new this season. There he is in the red Toyota Tundra. And some familiar names, James Scioli, Jacob Bell, Brad Slaughter Jr., many, many more. Ted Wade is new. Devin Schillingberg in the number 9, also another new name. So it's going to be a big field, Connor. 42 drivers tonight, 90 laps. We saw how chaotic the Cup race got last night. We also saw some long green flag runs. We'll see if the Truck Series holds the same.
Kind of a tale of 2 races last night. We had a wreck on lap 5, and then after that, pretty smooth sailing. Got all the way to about 15 to go until the big one struck. And then when that one yellow came down, we all know cautions breed cautions, and that's what happened. ended under yellow, unfortunately. Hopefully, that's not what happens tonight. We can have a great run to the finish line. It's going to be a very big one tonight.
Cameron Hearn in the number 4, renumbered this season in a Ford F-150. He's slowing down, testing and practicing for pit lane entry. We saw a handful of penalties last night, Connor, and those were some challenging moments for some of the drivers late in the going. The only thing you really got to practice if you feel pretty comfortable in the draft, it's that pit road entry and exit, coming down with a teammate or two. It's something that you're going to get one shot to get right in the race, and if you mess it up, your night's almost over.
Also, be careful avoiding a wreck and going down pit road. You could get an EOL. It could ruin your night. We'll see if that happens tonight. But yeah, pit road entry is so important, especially when we have such a big field at a track like Daytona. This isn't like a normal pit entrance whatsoever. If you have one of the last stalls, if you qualify in the high 30s and in the 40s, you're going to have to get on the brakes way earlier than everyone. You're going to have to let everyone know you got to get all the way to the inside wall and get down immediately. You don't want to be chopping everyone's noses, or else you're going to turn yourself and you lose a bunch of track position, maybe even get a penalty. So if that comes into play, which it should, it's going to be really important to get that right.
Another name jumping up towards the top of the board here in practice, Edward Scherer Jr. in the number 51. That's a Chevrolet Silverado. 3 types of trucks here, the Ford F-150, the Chevy Silverado, and the Toyota Tundra. Now, Connor, even if you're not aligned directly with another team tonight, are you going to be searching for those similar makes, or is it just kind of every driver for themselves searching for a partner to tango with to the front?
I think you're just going to search for whoever you're going with best, whoever's pushing it best, whoever you're pushing best. We saw that last night. I don't believe David Weishart has a team in Cup, but he worked well with Jake Nichols very well with the Solar Flare guys, and he was able to run at the front for a good bit and get pushed by them and worked really well with them. You also might be working with different teams depending on who's fast. You might not have teammates at the front in case they get in wrecks or anything like that. I worked well with Jake Nichols, pushed him to the front in the middle portion of that Cup race, so that might be something we see today. It might not be just a team game for the most part. You might just go with who's faster and who you know can hold a line very well. It's going to come into play a lot tonight, holding a line.
Well, we got drivers with us as well on camera. One of those drivers is Ricky Harden, who's joined us tonight. Ricky Springer nowhere to be found this evening, but we'll check and jump on board with some of the drivers tonight on camera as well. Ricky Harden in the number 15 truck, not currently on the racetrack, but getting set for qualifying here in a moment. Qualifying this year, Connor, is just one lap. It's all you get. So typically you've got a warm-up lap, and then you've got your flyer. You kind of run high and then run low. But qualifying this year, you got to get it one and done and do it right out of the gate.
And it's gonna put such a big emphasis on your exit lap, and not really just the entire out lap. It's gonna put an entire emphasis on getting around the apron as fast as you can, not going above that WL line until you get past that blue cone. That's gonna really impact your lap if you can't get through there clean.
Here's a look at David Weishart in the number 29 truck. We saw him last night running in the Area 500. He was frustrated last night. Thought it was one of the worst races he had ever been a part of. I don't think that's what it looked like from my perspective, Connor, but he had a tough night, especially towards the end, looking to maybe rebound here with the focused efforts on the truck series this time around. But here in qualifying, interesting to see what lines people are going to take. My gut feeling is it's going to be bottom feeding here because you're still kind of winding out that motor. So you're going to be going the short way around here in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely going to be going the short way around. Obviously, top 2, 3, and 4 on your out lap, and then just barely inch it down to the bottom, down in the tri-oval. Then you got to kind of let it jut out on the exit of the corner a little bit just to keep the momentum up. As you can see, Weishart is using the apron to his advantage. He's going to get a time down here. The first time down, we're going to see usually the people at the very front in qualifying are going to be doing that cut through the apron. It gains you a little bit of time, not much, but it's the difference.
Well, with this one lap qualifying, we're going to see times go up on this board, and once they're there to stay. Here's Ryan Swan working his way around. Bobby Tinch, Brian Chambliss trip 4th and 5th. Chambliss off pretty significantly, a 52.579. That's 0.6 off what Weishart just ran. Danny Ware is working his way around as well. Brad Slaughter Jr. jumps up to 6th. Watch that ticker populate, Connor. It's getting wild.
And it's going to be a case of who knows the rules and who doesn't. Brian Chambliss, he ran the top lap one. I don't think he was aware that you only got one lap, so that's why he was 10ths off. He ran the top thinking he had another lap. That wasn't the case, as we see Danny Ware coming around. He keeps it nice and tidy. You usually want to maybe get out to the closer to the outside wall, but not too close to the outside wall because it will slow you down if you're too close to that wall. He cuts the apron a bit late. Where's that lap going to put him? Where is he on the board? About 7th. Yes, you're correct.
Dean Thompson joining us again tonight in the number 5 truck. Here he comes out of turn number 4. This will be for his one and only flying lap. And across the stripe he will go. That'll be a 52.102, good enough for 15th place. And Justin Munsell gearing up here, rolling towards pit out in the number 6 Raycon truck. We were joking last night about all the great partners and people that have joined us this season, and we just need Raycon and Honey and all the other YouTube sponsors to join us for the remainder of the season. But here comes Munsell rolling up onto the back straightaway. This is such a critical portion, though. I didn't see Munsell accelerating as hard as I would think, because you really have to get through the gears very efficiently, Connor, and gather as much speed as you can on this outlap.
It's almost like he's in 4th gear, just about. You would usually do that if you're trying to save the engine if you're fully taped up, but that's not the case. Definitely seems like he's in 4th gear rolling out here. He should still be able to get a decent speed by the time he gets to the line, but you need as big of a run through 3 and 4 as you can.
Colorful truck. He heads up to the high part of the banking, maybe to get that run down the hill on corner exit. Swervin Irvin's back on track, gearing up for his flying lap. Devin Schillingberg. Aiden Robertson, P5 in the number 53. He jumps up into position. Justin Anasogak up to 2nd, and AJ Roderick to 6th.
How funny is it? The first lap we saw get put down by David Weishart, still at the top of the board with 51.954, about 100th faster than Anasogak, as they currently share the front row.
And Munsell sticking right to that bottom lane. I'm curious to see that. Looked like a pretty slow outlap, but will it pay off for him? And got that win. Was it at Richmond in the Launch Box Series late last season? Really helped Justin the closing weeks of the season with a lot of momentum, even from a different series. We'll see if that tail end momentum carries on to the opening round of the Area Truck Series this season. Here comes Munsell now out of turn number 4. Evan Schillingberg jumps up to 20th place. Mason Kane, Carter Koop, Munsell, Hartman, Irvin, Olson, and many more, including Eric Wineland, still have yet to go.
Munsell's going to cut down to the apron pretty late. 52.031 is going to put him, I believe, 12th on the board. So not a bad time there. You wonder if he could have gotten a better run on his outlap. Could he have done anything differently? Not too many more drivers are going to get a chance to put a time down as Munsell finishes his time up. Logan Hartman also pinked the double yellow line. See how low he gets miles per hour wise. Ooh, I think he clipped the apron just barely out of turn 2. It's going to cost you a lot more than it would anywhere else.
We'll see what happens to Logan Hartman. We saw Ryan Olson also working his way up onto the banking for the first of, the first and only qualifying effort he will get. But Weishart, a really exceptional lap right out of the gate to run as quick as he did by 100th. And again, our times are now down to the 1,000th. It's going to come in handy at tracks like this. And up in 5th place, Dylan Lee as well. Ryan Swan in 4th in the number 1. So strong runs for those drivers. As here comes Hartman across the stripe to kick off his lap.
So good of a run he can get. I believe that was to end his lap, actually. 52.088, and that will put him somewhat far back. I believe that will slot him 22nd. So a few more drivers getting on track here. 75 of Olsen going around. This is his first lap. I also saw Jacob Bell starting his lap, and a milestone for Bell to start the new season. He ran last night, so close to his first area win, but didn't quite get the yellow to fall his way. But tonight, in this truck race, he makes his 100th overall start across all 3 area series. How about that?
Yeah, that's a big milestone for Jacob Bell, and we saw last night how close he came to victory lane. Couple of feet. I'm sure he's going to hope he's on the other end of that couple of feet tonight. Another driver gearing up for a qualifying run right now as we watch Jacob Bell head onto the back straightaway. That is Eric Wineland, who was in the booth with us last night. Here he comes in the number 21 and rolling up to speed here.
I think it's some logos on that 21.
Is that what you're seeing on your end as well?
Yes.
Making sure? Okay.
Some logos.
Last night I got information that a driver swapped out a paint once the broadcast started. Typically I can't or won't refresh them just because I want to have white cars and trucks for 10 minutes while everything reloads in. But Wineland now heading up the banking, and we're seeing a lot of drivers with the similar strategy. Get up high, use the long way around. Jacob Bell trips the scoring in 7th. Good start for the the double 7 truck. Here comes Eric Wineland. He will be one of the last drivers to score a time. Justin Michael Curran, Carter Hayden, Charles Kaneda, Garrett Grant, Ted Wade, and Dustin Scruggs. If they don't start rolling out, Connor, they're not going to get a time in.
Even if they start rolling now, I don't know if they'll get around the track in time, but As you said, I think Weiland's going to be the last one to really put a time down, wrap the WL line a little bit off it, but still carrying 170 through the corner. Does not dip below 169, keeps it nice and tidy to the WL line, even out of the corner.
Looks very at peace right now. I don't think he'll be at peace a little bit later tonight. Going to get hectic out there. It's mentally draining. Although the truck's a little bit slower, Connor, they're going to give you a little bit more reaction time. They don't draft quite as aggressively as the Cup cars do. But we've seen these truck races get pretty wild. Here comes Wineland out of turn 4. He will be the last driver to head up on qualifying ticker and drops a tire in the grass. 52.054. That's going to be good enough only for about, 20th place?
20th, yes. Right behind the Series champion Brad Slaughter Jr. Should be sharing that row with him.
So qualifying is complete. It'll be Weishart and Anna Sogak on the front row for this one for the kickoff of this season. The Renfield 225 about to get green here in just a couple moments, so stick with us. And of course, as always, some people to thank before we get into the racing tonight. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel for only $5 a month. You can watch all area broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat and earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. And of course, we'll go over our Roasted Gems coffee starting lineup here in just a moment's time. Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. Qualifying over, Weishart, Anna Sogak, Rabel, Swan, your front two rows. We'll go over the rest of them here in just a moment. Thanks for joining us here on SimTV. Make sure to follow if you're on twitch.tv/Area iRacing and subscribe if you're on youtube.com/SimTV Broadcasting. If you'd like to follow along, live timing and scoring is available at simtvbroadcasting.com, so we'll see you there if you'd like to follow along at home. All right. Nighttime is the right time, Connor. Lights are on. Who you got winning this thing?
Trying to see. There's so many drivers who are always good on the super speedways, especially in this truck series. Ryan Hart's a winner at Daytona. He's not in the field tonight, but Brad Slaughter Jr. is. He's got momentum. He might not have won all the races last season, but he won the one that mattered at Nashville. He's just a good plate racer in general. I got to go with the 8 truck.
All right. I'm going to go with Cameron Hearn. I think he's about due for one here. So we'll see if the 4 can get it done tonight. Let's go through our Roasted Gems coffee starting lineup, Connor, and kick things off with David Weishart in the number 29. He'll kick things off in row 1. Justin Anasogak starts second in the number 88.
Then right behind him in row number 2, the 33 truck of Chris Rabel, and then right alongside him will be the 1 truck of Ryan Swan.
In row number 3, it's going to be Carter Koop in the number 52. Dylan Lee starts 6th in the number 25.
The driver hitting the century mark and starts an area tonight. Jacob Bell starts 7th in the 77 truck. AJ Roderick right next to him.
9th place is Aiden Robertson in the number 53. Cameron Hearn, my pick to win, starts 10th in the number 4 F-150.
And then Swerve Paul Irvin in the 3 truck tonight. One of the drivers in the 52 flat bracket. He starts 11th, and alongside him, the 61 of Bronson Stafford returns.
And in 13th place, Bryce Senesac in his familiar black and green. The 09 starts 13th in his Silverado alongside Danny Ware in the 49 and 14th.
No crumble cookie truck for Justin Munsell this year, but it's still a nice looking truck in 15th place. And Alan Elwood honoring one of NASCAR's top 75 drivers this year, Casey Kane throwback in honor of that tonight. He starts 16th.
Really dig that livery on the number 10. 17th place is the number 7, James Scioli, always a threat to get it done to the Rick's Hot Sauce truck. And Simrat Market adorning the side of Ricky Hardin's number 15 Chevrolet Silverado.
Got 2 champions bumper to bumper. The Pro Series champion Season 3 Scioli, and right behind him will be the Season 3 truck champion Brad Slaughter Jr. in 19th. Rounding out the top 20 is Eric Wineland.
And 21st place is going to be Josh Taylor in the number 57, another Rick's Hot Sauce truck, and Flat Out Racing Network's Tom Bourne starts 22nd in the 16.
Love how good these paint schemes are, but I'm not surprised. It's a custom to area to have good paint schemes. Bobby Tinch, Edward Shearer Jr., both with very good liveries. They start 23rd and 24th.
25th place, Logan Hartman in the number 96. Devin Schillingberg, new name this season. The Ricky Barbary Motorsports number 9 Silverado starts 26th place.
Travis Beckner at the end of last season, and almost every series, was starting to ruffle some feathers with some of his competitors. We'll see if he cleans it up or more the same this season. He starts 27th alongside the Craftsman Truck Series driver for Tricon Garage, Dean Thompson.
And 29th place, Ryan Olson in the number 75, and Hank Caston starts 30th in the number 36 truck, Connor.
And then just outside the top 30, I think at least one newcomer, Mason Kane, don't remember that name, he starts 31st in that Toyota Tundra. Alongside him will be the 11 of Dawson Miller.
33rd place is Braden Goddard in the number 38. We'll see his on board and his camera a little bit later tonight. Brian Chambliss starts 34th in the 19 truck.
And rounding out the qualifiers, Greg Mitchell, a Pro Series Final Four contestant last season. He starts 35th in his the start to his Truck Series campaign. Then alongside him, 36th. The first driver not put a time down, Michael Curran.
And Dustin Scruggs starts 37th in the number 22. Justin Michael 38th in the number 87.
The Ironman of the Area Series, most starts in area goes to Garrett Grant in the 42 truck tonight. He starts 39th. Ted Wade, another newcomer, starts 40th.
And starting on the final row tonight, Charles Canita in the number 43 starts 41st in his Silverado, and Carter Hayden in his Toyota Tundra TRD Pro starts dead last, 42nd in that number 99. It is time to go racing in the Area Truck Series season. That was your Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup. The field works their way out of turn number 4. 90 laps will go up on the timing and scoring. This will kick off our 2023 Area Truck Series season. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn. Let's bring it to the green flag at Daytona. Let's go trucking in Central Florida. Green flag flies, and we're racing at the World Center of Racing. Lap 1 complete. Weishart takes the lead on the bottom of the racetrack. He started on pole, slotted in ahead of the 33 of Chris Rabel, and they power away on the inside lane. A little bit of a push there from the 33 of Rabel. That was a thing last night. We had an early caution, lap 7, with drivers just remembering and relearning how to push, Connor, but I think so far so good here in the Truck Series.
It almost looks the same as the Cup race looked yesterday, with the outside line not really going, and then the bottom line kind of jutting away. That bottom line didn't get caught until around the halfway point of the race, but the top line already with a big run with Jacob Bell jumping up to the outside.
Yeah, that was a pretty aggressive move to go kind of middle 3 wide there for a moment. Justin Anasogak moves up to follow him, and then it's Swerve and Irvin on the bottom, Ryan Swan up top. They're side by side. Pretty even, orderly lines to start this race, but we know as the race goes on, it's going to get more and more chaotic. Weishart leads, but that 77's gathering some pace with that 88 pushing.
Already one thing you'll see different, really in the Cup cars, you want both lanes to be spread out because that side draft slows you down so much. The top lane's got to be next to the wall. Not the case in the trucks and even in the Xfinity cars. You can pinch that guy in the bottom. It's not going to hurt you too much, and it might even get you a better run off the corner. Look at the 77 fly off of turn number 2.
Yeah, look at the momentum they're going to have down the back straightaway with a big push from the 88. The one of Ryan Swan is gathering some speed too, but now they're going to hit that wall of air past that 29 truck. And Weishart, he slots in front of the 29, and Weishart has to lift. Certainly that was a big moment there for the number 29, and you have to wonder if that stressed him out a little bit. He had to lift big time.
Oh yeah, that's not what you want to be doing on lap 3 of the race, but Bell wanted to lead. He did not want to be on that top line. Also probably just wanted to give the 88 of Anasogak a break, because these trucks, really any car in general, is going to heat up pretty quickly when you're just shoving non-stop. So 77 gets the lead. It was hairy, but it worked.
Ooh, a little bit of a slip and slide there from the 88 of Anasogak on the outside. But they're pushing clear of that upper groove. The background, you see Travis Beckner in the 28 truck looking very much like his Cup Series ride. Way back there right now, but working his way forward. He's 27th at the moment.
After last night, I'd have to say I like that strategy.
Whoa, the 88 almost got put middle there, and that was good thinking by Ryan Swan to lift and perhaps keep that from turning into something a lot worse.
Yeah, Cup cars, you can hang someone out, but even in trucks, when you got one driver in the middle and then maybe 10 on the top, it's still pretty hard to get them out of the way and get your line back going again. So it's difficult to make that decision to try to split someone because you really don't know if the driver behind is going to want to go with you because it's a big loss of momentum. Speaking of loss of momentum, the top lane already kind of fading with the 88 leading it. Jacob Bell looked pretty good leading it, but Anna Sogak not getting pushed very well by Ryan Swan currently.
Nice and orderly for the time being. Ricky Harden in the number 15 truck. He's one of the drivers on the inside lane, just kind of riding in line for now. Started this race at 18th, and he's moved up 2 spots.
You're really not going to see a lot of big movers for a while. Hank Casson up 11 spots, 30th and 19th. Tom Bourne's up about 7. Everyone's pretty orderly. You don't have guys coming from the back to the front, but you definitely have guys going from the front to the back. Cameron Hearn already dropped back to 27th from his top 10 starting spot.
Now Paul Irvin leads that upper groove in the number 3 Chevrolet Silverado. And again, these lines have been a lot more orderly. They're not moving around quite as much, but you see the 3 get out of line there and almost got pushed awkwardly by that 88.
Oh, there's a car in the apron in the 3. That was close. Couldn't see who that was back there. I think it might have been Schillingberg trying to drop back and almost waited too late, but they're all good. I'm already seeing right now, one thing I'm seeing, the 88's a really good pusher and a really aggressive pusher. He can really get whoever he's pushing to the front, but it's not without it being a little bit of nervous times for the driver he is pushing.
And Weishart jumps to the outside lane ahead of Irvin. Making big moves here to try to move forward.
You already see that drivers don't really want to stay in line. They want to get to the front and lead this pack. It's a lot easier to lead a line here than it is in a Cup car and even an Xfinity car. So Weishart wants to get that positioning back. He wanted the pole. He got the pole. Whoa. He wanted to lead a few more laps. Wow.
Who was that snuck in there? Was that Dylan Lee in the 25? Just tried to jam that truck in a economy car-sized hole. Got it there. But that was pretty tight.
Air times for lap 7. Didn't make it 7 laps yesterday. We look like we might be able to do it today as, like you said, pretty orderly lines, but not without some hairy moments from the guys pushing as Weishart gets even with 2nd place, and now even with Jacob Bell with a huge run into turn number 1. We were seeing 200 miles per hour yesterday. Now we're lucky to see 190 tonight.
Yeah, the speeds are about 10 to 15 miles an hour slower, which again gives you just a little bit more time to react and slows the runs down. The rate of change, the speed difference between drivers with runs and drivers without runs is a lot less than it was last night, which should keep from creating some of the scenarios that we saw with big checkups. It's almost like slam drafting that we saw last night. This is more your traditional kind of push and shove.
I can confirm it was slam drafting. This is a little bit different. You cannot slam someone in a truck. It's not that. It takes a little bit of effort to spin someone in a Cup car, but these trucks are pretty on edge. You hit someone just barely wrong. You don't hit them square. They are most likely going to go around, and it's going to be. I'd be very impressed if someone was able to save it if they get hit on the left rear, right rear. So you got to be careful when you're making that push. And a Sogak, so aggressive already tonight. Look at a 3 and 88 going to the front. Those are 2 numbers that pair well together.
Yeah, I saw David Weishart's eyes kind of looking to the right as he saw that run building. And the 3 is clear. I wonder if he'll drop to the inside or if he'll stay up there with the 88. And check up on the inside.
He's going to stay up there. I think Jacob Bell overheated a little bit, so it really checked them up. Now you got almost 3 trucks clear. AJ Roderick's going to not come down. As you can see, the bottom line surges back once they get the entry of the corner all the way back pretty much to the race lead as here comes Weishart.
Yeah, he should be leading by the stripe here unless the 88 can give the 3 a shove. Little off center. Got to be careful where you give that push, leaving a corner. The 33 truck of Rabel dives onto the apron for a moment, maybe to get some fresh air on the nose. There goes Irvin to the bottom now.
That's to probably give Anna Sogak a little bit of clean air as well. If I'm seeing this at the front, or if I'm seeing this right now, I know who I want behind me. It's the 88 when it comes to crunch time.
Yeah, so far, been pushing pretty effectively. Bronson Stafford, the 61, kind of making his name known here early up on that high groove. He's got the 6 behind him a couple rows back. That's Justin Munsell, who we talked about earlier. Looks like most of the trucks are still kind of in one group, too. We're not seeing split groups like we saw the other night. Here's a look at the field as they come out of turn 4. Some of them are single filed out, but everyone's still in one big chunk.
Cameron Hearn almost wanted to go through wide, but I guess you're right. The whole field separated by about 4 seconds, but all 42 drivers still in this pack, all the way back to Ted Wade, dead last in 42nd. as Cameron Hearn, we were talking about, he almost made a move to the middle. I say he's one of the bigger movers. He wasn't. He's one of the bigger movers backwards, but apparently wants to get back to the front. The main pack's about 20 trucks. Like you were talking about, everyone's still in a big pack, but we're 2x2 all the way back out just outside the top one.
Piece of movement mid-pack there, 3 wide. Cameron Hearn up the middle, going past, I think that's the 11 of Dawson Miller that's going to drop behind him there. Ooh, he looks loose, doesn't he?
Yeah, he swerved down to try to get back in front of, trying to see who that was. It looked like maybe Dean Thompson was, as he's going to pull off in pit road. He might be having some issues with how sideways he was.
Yeah, slowing down that Celsius Toyota Tundra. Go back up to the front because it is getting as racy as it has been. 2 even lines, and now the 88 tastes the lead for a moment. Comes around turn number 2, and he did lead a lap.
Not that lap, though. The 88 just barely didn't get it by 17/1000th of a second. And Sogak is definitely looking like one of the dominant trucks tonight, but Paul Urban, all the way from 11th, he's already up to the lead.
Into turn 3, still dead heat here for the front. Now it's the 56 and 29 that run in that second row. 29 of Weishart on the bottom, AJ Roderick on the outside. And I think right now, this orderly fashion that we're seeing for the most part, I wonder if we get towards the end of the run, if tire wear will at all play a factor, maybe less so than it did last night in handling. Connor, how much did it transition? We know that Daytona Speedway has gotten a little bit rougher, a little bit less grippy over the past decade or so since it was paved, but I can't imagine that you're you're feeling very different at the end of the run versus the start.
Not really. You would really only get on edge in a cup car if you had a big run, like when me and Jake Nichols had a big run into the corners and out of corners. That's when it's going to affect you. It's going to push a little bit in a cup car just because of how much speed you're carrying and the tire wear. But even still, it's manageable to go full throttle in it. These trucks, I don't think it's going to play as much of a factor because of his speed. As we see a third line starting to form at the top, I don't think that tire wear is going to come into play too much, except maybe on corner exit. Pushing hard on someone's bumper on corner exit in these trucks.
Wow.
That might be where we see a little bit of hairiness. It's already getting hairy. Cameron Hearn wants to go to the front now. Look at those two.
They look like you and the 73 last night, just pushing straight through to the front on the outside. What a move, what a drive by these two. And the 4 is going to nose ahead of the second place car and only has 1 more to get, but now the run's dying here as they leave turn number 2, 3 abreast for the top spot.
They were 5 miles per hour faster than the bottom 2 lines in the turn number 1. That's crazy what they're able to do when tandeming, but how long is it going to last when you don't have a third truck to kind of help that driver pushing Cameron Hearn when he has no more oil temps to go higher? They're going to fall back just a little bit, but still hanging strong. I think that's Scioli coming to help.
It is the 7 truck on the outside. Look at this, 3x3x3, 4 rows deep as they come out of turn 4 here at Daytona. The race is on. It's lap 15 of 90, and you might as well be lap 89. Look at this mess as we head down into turn 1. They can't do this forever, Connor. Matter of time.
They most certainly can't do it for 75 laps. We didn't go 3 wide, I feel like, until lap 90 on that restart in the Cup race, but they want to go to the front now. Interesting by Hearn to do that. He dropped back from 10th all the way outside the top 25 as someone drops the apron. A few drivers getting out of line.
Yeah,
they see
they
3
don't
wide.
like this.
They see 3 wide. They're out of here. I don't blame them.
No, they don't want any part of this. They're dropping tires in the dirt heading off into turn 3, and now they have to get back up on the racetrack, but they are sensing impending doom as they climb the banking. 31 degrees in 3 and 4. It is very spicy up front, but now they're losing momentum on that upper groove.
Carter Coop's going to lose the draft. He didn't get up in time, and he kept on the apron through 3 and 4, so it's going to be probably our first driver to lose the draft tonight, other than, of course, Dawson Miller, who has not gotten back on track.
And now that lane is dying up there. I think they're going to try to shuffle back in. It's going to strand the 25 of Dylan Lee. He was trying to go places, but now he's going to go, well, he's going to go places, just not in the right direction.
And it only took 1 instance of 3 wide to see our second pack sort of form up. I think that's Aiden Robertson, leading that line. He's about 29th place right now, is leading a line of about a dozen cars or so.
Oh, Beckner got tires on the apron, saw the 36 of Hank Caston work his way to his outside and saw the 25 way up high and realized, oh, we're 3 wide. I don't know if everyone knows that, so he gave him a little extra space. Bryce Sedisek.
Well, we got a preview for the end, didn't we?
We sure did. I'm actually impressed they sorted that out without sending people skyward like what typically happens. But again, also start thinking about where you want to be. We're about probably halfway to the first pit stop window, Connor, and start, I mean, if you're on the outside, you've been there almost the entire race, it feels, at least in this front group. So you want to start thinking about where you want to place yourself 10, 15 laps from now, because it's going to take that long to get there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be hung out on the top. The driver is like Anders Sogak, who's been pretty full throttle for all 17 of these laps. He's probably going to be one of the shorter ones on fuel, so he's got to make a plan and be ready to try to jump to the inside when the hole, reveals itself. Maybe Irvin can work that out with him, but it's going to be hard to do when you got Weishart over your bumper. Definitely something you want to start thinking about. I would say not yet, but probably around lap 25, you got to start thinking about that.
Alan Elwood back racing here in area after he had to bail out of the tail end of the Lodgebox Series season while fighting for a championship because of the birth of his, I think his second child, But Alan is back ready to race, newborn at home, but in the hands of mom tonight as he heads down the back straightaway up into 6th place.
Oh, Irvin got a bit of a nasty shove from Weishart, and it almost did not work out well. It shot the 3 well up the track and was able to corral it before he went to the side of the 88s. They're still dead even.
This wears on you after a while, Connor, doesn't it? Especially if you're where Weishart is, or even further back in that group. Think where Chris Rabel is. He's been holding a very steady wheel for a long time. Maybe even worse if you're the 10, for example, Alan Elwood, because you don't have that yellow line as a reference. You're kind of tracking the split in the pavement. It gets tiring to do this lap after lap.
It gets a little tired. It also gets a little bit annoying at times when you're in this line for so long and it just does not move. The 88's been leading it for at least 5 laps now, and there's just been no movement. It definitely gets frustrating. You want to either make a bonsai move to get to the front, or you just get out of there because you're tired of just sitting in line. It can definitely wear on you.
Into turn 3 again. That upper groove, Cameron Hearn falling back to pair up again with Brad Slaughter Jr. They made that incredible run up through the field, and maybe going to try to link up to do it again.
Yeah, I think what Cameron Hearn might have learned there is when he has to make that move to the high side if there's a third line available. We see at the end of these races all the time, 3 lanes at Daytona will get clogged up very early. And if you're not one of the first ones to lead those lines, you're probably not going to get a shot unless you somehow avoid the big one. Even then, that's going to be difficult. But I think Hearn definitely learned when he needs to make that move up there and who he needs pushing him as well.
And how much ground you can make up, right? I mean, they passed 25 trucks in a lap or two. So, that is definitely on the table for later. The question is, will they be the first drivers to get 3 wide? Because if they're not going to have anywhere to go. And you can do 4 wide at Talladega, but you can't get away with it for very long at Daytona.
Maybe they'll do it down the straightaway at Daytona, but you'd be lucky if you don't get a passing below a WL line penalty if you do it on the back straightaway. So hopefully that's something that we don't have to see tonight is 4 wide at Daytona, because we know it won't work.
Yeah, we've seen that a handful of times and not for very long.
And not many drivers got out of it live.
Lap 21 of 90, we're taking away the laps here. And look at all the single file trucks here at the back. Dawson Miller, the only driver out of the race so far. Carter Koop, he has lost the draft, but Ted Wade still clinging to the back. As we got one driver trying to go 3 abreast there. Is that the one?
Cameron Hearn.
No, it's Cameron Hearn again. He's got eyes on the front as he has this whole time.
He's the aggressor at these super speedways, that's for sure. We saw it at Dega, we saw it at Atlanta in the Pro Series. He's still trying to make it happen. He's got the champ Brad Slaughter Jr. behind him. Scioli's there as well, but do they really want to go right now? Hearn says, yes, I want to get to the front.
Well, here they go again, and Scioli's going to go with them. The 10 sees their move. He jumps up in front. Will that affect their push, or will it just strengthen it? Scioli dips back down. So does Slaughter.
Did too. Yep, that's going to kind of hurt them. Casey Kane leading that 3rd line. Got to be careful here. Hearn's definitely a capable pusher. We'll see what type of run they might get down the back. Does anyone jump up in front of him? I doubt it. But once again, down the back straightaways where they're their strongest. Look at this run. Again, about 5 miles per hour faster.
Yeah, Hearn is really the catalyst, either with the 8 behind him or the 10 in front of him. They have been going places when they get hooked up. It's a little bit of a stack up here as they roll through 3 and 4.
I didn't even notice Weishart jumped in the middle, but he wanted to lead that line and get back to the front. But the 3 and the 77, Jacob Bell doing a good job pushing tonight as well. As Hearn, the Thames get a little bit hot and they start to drop back as he's off the 10 just a little bit. As you see that run start to undevelop there. Definitely seems like they need to make that move out of the tri-oval into 1 because they get such a run down the back straightaway.
Well, I love that they are trying, and they're finding some efficacy there, but for how long?
That definitely didn't work out for Hearn. Looked like I was trying to see. Alan Elwood actually found a hole in front of Bronson Stafford. Cameron Hearn, unfortunately, will not. And Scioli won't let him in, so he might have to try that all over again with the new driver.
Travis Beckner in the 28, he's creeping his way forward as well. Remember, he started 27th. He fell back to his lowest 29th. He's up 10 spots, though, and maybe looking for one more on the inside of the 4. Whoa. Senesac getting out of shape there.
And Irvin got out of shape, trying to get to the front. Weishart wanted to lead that lap. He got to the front for a split second, but the 3 took it right back from him.
Watch that 4 again. Big run all on his own, but he's not going to get very far without some help. Dead even lines again as we get closer and closer to lap 25. Past a quarter distance at this stage.
Is what we're talking about. Oop, the 88 blinked a little bit. Do not want to do that at a super speedway. Probably the worst track for that to happen at. But this is when we're talking about lap 25. You got to start thinking, when can I get down? Who's going to give me a hole? Where can I slot in that puts me in a competitive spot for the next pit stop? You got to start thinking about that now.
Cameron Hearn maybe trialing side draft here a little bit on his own. He is moving back forward. He has been the most aggressive, I'd say, on that upper groove in particular. Ooh, big stack up there on the middle. And trying this, he's just experimenting. You're not going to win the race doing this right now. You certainly could lose it, but he's learning valuable information about the way these trucks are handling with a pushing, or on their own, and Slaughter's going to jump up behind him.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of side draft in these trucks. Not as much as the Cup cars, but there's definitely something there where you can get a little bit of a run. It doesn't really slow both trucks down. It really, be careful, Bronson Stafford got on the left rear of the 10, but it doesn't really slow both drivers down. It just seems like they give the side drafter a little bit of an extra boost. They go 189 into turn number 3, squarely in the middle. Slaughter Jr., Scioli get back up behind the 4.
Weishart in behind Irvin on the bottom lane once more. Jacob Bell, third in line there. The 33 of Chris Rabel's been persistently third or fourth in line on the bottom. Scioli jumps back to the upper groove.
Once again, you're starting to see some more drivers C3 wide again, starting to drop back a little bit further. It's 2x2 or 3x3 at certain points, all the way back to Tom Bourne, who's in 18th place. He's right behind Craftsman Trucksters driver Team Thompson, who's starting to make a move to the front.
It's almost a given this race is not going to go caution-free. So you have to, I mean, there's drivers hedging their bets in the back right now that we're going to get a yellow. With the field packed up this tight, it'll be a big one if it happens. And if not, you just draft up there later.
It's the one thing about Cup cars, how spread out they can get with certain packs. It's almost hard to get a big one nowadays, but these trucks, you're almost guaranteed 15, 20 trucks if one driver at the front gets sideways.
And last night I was actually very impressed with the field because there were crashes that should have been a lot bigger than they were that really didn't turn out to be. Whoa, look at the 88 drop in front.
That was close.
Wow, that was tight.
I was kind of reacting about Weishart in the apron at trial, but that was closer than the 88 earlier chopping to the bottom. That was extremely close.
Not as close as you're going to get. And now A.J. Roderick with a push from the 10 of Alan Elwood. He's trying to move back forward up to the front.
Not something we might see a lot of tonight until later, but our first lap truck, Carter Coop, who lost a draft trying to get to the back. He lost more time than he wanted to. He'll be the first driver on track to go a lap down, but he should slot in.
This is always
someone's way down on the apron. That is
Hank Caston, and there's more trucks coming. Maybe a little, they're going to probably split this race into 3 equal segments. Lap 30, lap 60, I guess you could bet. That's going to break up the field here mid-pack just a little bit. Devin Schillingberg jumps to the outside. And Carter Coop goes a lap down to these drivers now. But this might create a little bit of a catalyst for some chaos here, Connor.
Definitely will. Splits up the pack. You're going to see a few big runs from drivers who weren't in this close in this pack. Maybe get to the front. Trying to see who's there. In pits, Justin Michael, Hank Caston. Ted Wade's already off pit road with Dustin Scruggs. So those 4 split up completely. So that's probably not going to work out too well for those guys.
On board now with Ricky Hardin. He's been kind of lingering back here in the mid-20s, but he has everything out the windshield right now. And far enough back that he can drop out of it if things get spicy ahead of him.
Definitely sort of got the best of both worlds. Still in the lead pack and also far back enough to where it happens at the very front. You should be able to react and avoid it, but always got to worry about the drivers behind you just in case, you know, they might not get on the binders in time. There's always the possibility of that, so you got to be wary of what's in your mirror when the wreck happens as well.
Cameron Hearn laying back a little bit from those front two on the outside lane.
See if he builds a run. Nope, he's going to get to the bottom instead. Is anyone else coming in here? I don't think so, but definitely looks like he's setting himself up to be ready to come when he needs to. This is lap 30. This is that point where he could split it evenly if you fit here. We'll see if anyone does.
I mean, that just makes sense to me mathematically. Split it down the middle, and then you don't have to think about it. As far as pit strategy goes at these plate tracks, Connor, you can't really do an overcut or undercut like you would with tire wear at a different racetrack. So it's really just how you want to break it up mathematically. And 3 equal segments makes the most sense to me. You can't do it, I don't think, on one stop, so it'll be a 2-stop race.
Ooh, big push from the 3 to the 88. You also got to make sure you come down with people. If you pit on your own, if you're splitting it in thirds, great, but you're not going to hang with anyone if you don't have anyone to draft with when everyone else is still in the big pack running close to 190 squarely for the 56 there. So you got to really strategize with your team and whoever you're running with. I don't think anyone's going to come down this time.
Didn't see anybody doing it, but they are catching that other group that already hit pit lane. Well, there's 2 of them at least.
Cassidy and Michael.
Calling that a group might be a little bit of an overstatement.
Definitely a tandem. It's that top line you can see in the lead pack definitely starting to break up. Everyone's ready to come down and get in line. I think Hearn might be trying to let someone down, or he's just laying back, seeing what type of run he can get. Roderick had a gap. I thought he'd take it, he did not.
Does catching this pack or this 2-car tango ahead, does that make you want to hit pit lane a lap sooner maybe than you were planning? Because this is going to create a little bit of a whirlpool here, and I'd rather hit pit lane and let everyone else deal with it. But the risk is the caution comes out.
That's what I did last night when we started.
There they come.
Yep,
they're all coming. And
when
it's ooh, look out. Everyone's got to scatter here to not hit each other on pit lane, and that was well done. One truck runs out there and grabs the commitment cone.
Logan Hartman. So everyone else got to make sure you're not above someone who's pitting after you. I think everyone's good with that. Bell's in, Hearn's in, Chris Rabel. That was definitely a product of catching that tandem there and not wanting to get stacked up by them. We saw that last night where we caught the pack who hit a little bit earlier. They were going to slow us down, and I hit pit lane on my own, but it worked out.
I think Hartman didn't get into his box. He just rolled right through. For the lead now, it's David Weishart working his way to the inside of the 36 and the 87. Hank Casson and Justin Michael, who already have made their run to pit lane for the first time. And here comes another big group, and this is going to be almost everyone else. They scatter again.
Oh, look out. The 10's very deep. Elwood, I think he still made it, though. Got to be careful.
Wow, this is busy.
We can see some big collisions here. Got to look all the way through here. They're 3-4 wide trying to get in their stalls.
There's the crash.
Contact.
43 truck.
Kaneda, and trying to see who that was. Ryan Olson, I believe, made contact.
And that's a pretty big hit there for Kaneda. Looked like a ton of damage. Oh, that right front's pretty tore up, Connor.
Carter Hayden got a piece of it as well. He just left to his stall. I've never seen a pack that big pit at Daytona, I don't think. I can't believe there wasn't more contact, to be honest. We'll see what happened here. Someone turning down from the top lane.
Right here, 75 gets him and sends him around for a loop. Does he get hit again? Yeah, right there, gets clipped by the 99 and Carter Hayden.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's very easy for that to happen as, let's see, Brian Chambliss is in all on his own. Carter Hayden just left with all that damage.
Now the field remerges. This is a pretty chaotic time as well as everyone tries to block big runs that are coming.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. You got to be careful. Stay to the bottom if you're not fast enough. Jacob Bell's got the biggest run of all. I believe he should be the one who takes the lead here after everything cycles out. I believe pretty much everyone's down and away from pit road.
I think here comes some more drivers on pit road now. Whoever was left, Scruggs, maybe? No. Whatever group is left. They're changing positions on the timing screen too quick to count. Herhan. Here comes the 19. Back on track. That's Brian Chambliss.
He might be able to stay with that third line. That was Logan Hartman who came down to pit road on his own. He missed his stall when he was in that frenzy pitting, so unfortunate for him. That'll drop him down the order. So
pretty single file here for the first 12.5 cars or so, and everyone else behind is singling back out. This is going to kind of create a little bit of a calm period here until these groups merge back together. The goal now is separate your group from every other, but the 61 of Stafford, the 10 of Allen Elwood say, nope, let's race double file here for the top spot.
And for the second lane, it's all about keeping in touch with that lead pack. You don't want to stay back too far. It's not easy to get a run back on those guys. Senesac, Dean Thompson, Schillenberg, Grant, Lee, Wineland, all drivers in that second line there. They're working hard to try to catch back up the lead pack. They hit about 190 in the turn number 1. I think they should get back there pretty easily because they're 3 wide at the front.
Yeah, they're 3 wide for third place. Look at Beckner. He was a big climber in that pit stop situation, so he climbs up to third place, the highest he's run all day. And he's going to get clear of the 61 who tried to shut the door on the 4, and Hearn said no thank you. Through he comes the middle.
And our Mr. 100 starts Jacob Bell leads after all that. He was in the top 5 for that entire run. On the bottom line, he was one of the drivers who really didn't deviate from that bottom line, just stuck there the entire time. It's gotten him the race lead. Irvin slot in second, Beckner, Rabel, and then Hearn and Anna Sogak side by side for 5th, as that second line is pretty much caught up at this point. I thought that was a wreck. Yeah, there is a car in the wall. That's a lap truck. The 99 again. He's solidly in the wall. Carter Hayden.
Yeah, he was just trying to stay out of the way and ended up kind of ditching the truck into the safer barrier. Better than ditching it into the field, but he's going to have a lot of damage. He's already a lap down, and it's going to get worse from here, I fear. Chris Rabel leads the way with a push from Cameron Hearn.
And here comes Elwood. He jumped to the top as that top line's that made sure to get up there before that second line with a huge run was able to get up there themselves.
Pretty neat orderly lines formulating again. I thought they'd stay single file for a little while, but they are in a racy mood tonight. Only lap 36 of 90, about 43 minutes of racing going. And we have not had a yellow flag yet, Connor. Cross my fingers that we can go a little further without one, but all clean and green so far.
Yeah, find some wood and knock on it saying that on lap 37.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time. It always is.
As long as Cameron Hearn's up there, you never know. Ooh, Bell got
the
a very
88.
squirrely.
Sogak absolutely just forced his way ahead of Ricky Harden.
Big stack up Slaughter with a big hit to the rear bumper of whoever he was behind there. And this is going to be a very important run, not because it's the last pit stop, but because everyone's going to be trying to position themselves for that final pit stop. You want to be at the front when you come and take your final maybe dozen gallons of gas or so. You got to be making moves here on this run.
Everyone's eyeballing really lap 60 or so. Make that final stop, which is about 22 laps from now. 32 laps from now. 22 laps? 22 laps from now.
22.
We can go a little further than 30 laps, but you're going to pit at that earliest opportunity, most likely.
I would say so for sure. What this has done, we're not a pack of 40 trucks anymore, but still a big pack. 28 trucks all the way back to trying to see who that final truck is. Danny Ware, I haven't talked about him today. He's been riding in the back. He is 28th, and then Hank Caston's leading a 4-car line, and Ryan Olson's leading another 4-car line. And it's pretty spread out from there. Dustin Scruggs leading the final line.
Well, we're going to way towards lap number 40. It has been exciting so far. We haven't had a lot of opportunities to look at our Sim Wrap Market replay. Race fans, be sure to visit simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack.
Can confirm I did use them for my Cup car.
Yeah, good website, simwrapmarket.com. Check them out. Definitely gives you at least a base to start from. The 4 sideways with a shove from Chris Rabel. Hangs onto it there. Look at the 10's got some damage on the rear bumper. That could make things a little bit sketchy for Anna Sogak, who's trying to push him forward.
I don't even know where that came from, but it looked like it happened on this run, probably when the stack up happened in the middle. Actually, I think that might have happened when the 99 bounced off the wall. He might have hit Elwood when bouncing off the wall, but luckily it didn't cause a yellow, but we'll see how much that hurts the ability to get pushed. He's definitely squirrely off the front bumper of Anna Sogak in the 88 truck, but really, who hasn't?
Yeah, looking more and more uncertain here as drivers are pushing and shoving a little bit harder. Jacob Bell in 5th place now on the bottom. Paul Irvin has fallen to 7th. Dustin Munsell in the 6th truck. Raycon truck, he's up in there, top lane.
Also, another thing about the Sim Wrap Market website, it's very easy to change the colors on those. That helped me a lot.
Yeah. Good to start with just a base scheme, and then you can fiddle with colors. Got a nice forged carbon fiber texture as well that I've seen.
I was able to put the roof number on correctly as well.
Yeah. Good thing that they start you with a good base to get it on the right direction. Closing in on halfway, Connor, and most aggressive trucks I've seen, 4 and the 88.
Yeah, definitely right about that. Oh, who's getting lapped here? Cameron Hearn's going to drop to the back. I think maybe he wanted the lap lead, and then he's saying goodbye. Because he did get the 1 lap lead. He's actually led 4, and I guess he figures, what the heck, I'm going to kind of ride it out this point. I've already been aggressive enough, speaking of aggressive.
I thought he was going back to pick up the 8, but Brad Slaughter Jr. is P9. He's going to drop a long ways back outside of the top 20.
Yeah, I think that must have been just about getting some laps led, getting bonus point, and then kind of just riding until he feels like he needs to get back to the front. But it's kind of surprising he does that when he's in the lead, especially being one of the aggressors of this race, as you talk about him and Justin Anasogak.
And Anasogak remains third. Alan Elwood takes over the lead, and Chris Rabel has been quiet but consistently up front. You see the low is 35th, but he has been basically P3 to P6 for this entire race so far.
Same for the 88, same for Jacob Bell, and same for really Paul Urban since he went up there.
Block from Elwood on Rabel. Rabel checks up, and he saved the 10 and probably about 15 other trucks there by getting out of the throttle.
That was really close to a big one. I'm very surprised that Rabel was able to get out of it in time, as now he's lighting up the rear bumper of Elwood. Probably not happy with how close that was. Elwood saw a gap and he went for it. And we're talking about the 88 and the 4, how they've been the aggressor of this race. They've almost been the aggressors in 2 different ways. Anasogak's been the aggressor as far as pushing goes. Cameron Hearn's been the aggressor as far as leading a line and trying to make a third line and just looking for runs where they seem to develop out of nowhere.
Wonder if those two get hooked up, if they'll be better together, better than the sum of their parts, or if they'll have issues staying hooked up, maybe cause a collision with aggression from both ends, front and rear. 2 even lines, though, as we work our way towards lap 44. Elwood and Anasogak battling for the lead, and this main pack is a long way back. It is 28 trucks deep. The final one is Cameron Hearn.
Starting to ride it out pretty well, about close to closing it on halfway about when you could see this fuel run end as 2x2, just like the start of the race. No third line so far on this run, as a few drivers dip into the apron. Beckner dipped into the apron. I've seen a few drivers do that. I really think that's just to get some temps lower a little bit instead of going high where there's a driver ahead of you. Might as well dip below the WL line as long as you're not passing anyone.
Yeah, the cool air is great for these engines when you've been following in line and you're not getting air through the grill to cool the engine, the oil. But if you can just pop out of line, if only for a split second, you can lose a couple degrees of that temperature, which will allow you to go another straightaway or two. So you back off like the 28 has done here, you're going to get some better airflow than if you're packed up against the rear bumper like Rabel is on the 10 right now, pushing hard.
Mason Kane drops back from 13th place, and can't notice that. Can keep noticing the 10's damage more and more. It's not just really the fender; it's all around the wheel. It's a lot more damage than I thought he had, and it's kind of hurt. It's kind of hurting the ability for Rabel to push him squarely. I think that's a reason why this outside lane's staying even pretty easily.
Elwood got pretty sideways entering turn 1, as you mentioned. Maybe a little bit of issues from Rabel pushing a slightly damaged rear bumper. You see them weaving down the straightaway. It does not look like it's hooking very straight like we would expect with an untouched rear bumper.
As long as it doesn't hook right, it's all good, but they're getting squirrely down there and losing some speed down the back straightaway especially, which lets the 88 get a little bit of an advantage, but they're still fast enough to the point where they can hold down on the bottom.
Halfway here at Daytona for the Area Truck Series season opener. 45 laps complete, 45 laps to go. It has been clean and green since the drop of it. A couple drivers have fallen out of the mix. Dawson Miller is out of the race. Coop and Hayden down 1 lap and 2 laps respectively. 39 other drivers on the lead lap, but there is a group just ahead. Hartman, Ted Wade, Scruggs, Goddard, and more that are going to go a lap down pretty quickly.
We'll see. Actually, funny enough, that 3-truck line was 4/10 faster than the lead pack, so they're actually making time. Just 3 in the pack.
Wonder if it's because they're not scrapping around as much as this lead group is.
Definitely a part of it. They're still hitting about 190. They're even 187 in the trial, so making good time, but they still lost a lot of time in that sequence, which is going to be impossible to recover without a yellow, but doing good.
Well, like I said, it's only a matter of time. We are going to get a caution, whether it's lap 48 or lap 90 or lap 88, I suppose. I guess we could have one lap 98 in theory, but one overtime. So maybe lap 92.
We'll go with 92. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, one overtime rule, which I really like. We saw last night that repeated overtimes.
Whoa.
Ooh, a little bit of wobbling there. Repeated overtimes are just going to get more cars out of the race. It doesn't really do much for you. So one attempt at overtime if we get down to that point, which my gut tells me we will.
It's definitely a tale of if you're a broadcaster or driver. As a broadcaster, I like it. Less torn up race cars. But as a driver in a cup race, I didn't have time to get up to the front, man.
Want more opportunities.
Yeah, more opportunities to wreck. Yeah.
Well, if someone else wrecks, then you're the one that takes that advantage forward.
I'll admit, I was full throttling if the yellow didn't come out.
Yeah, that's...
But I was on the apron. Gets hairy at the end of these races, and like last night, if that yellow comes out late, you can only expect, especially your drivers in this race who were in the cup race last night, you almost have to assume if one yellow comes out, cautions are going to be cautions, and you got to make sure you have track position as they lap the 99 once again.
Yeah, he's now 3 laps down. He's got big-time right side damage. That's Carter Hayden behind the wheel. Where is the 4? Is he still lingering back there?
Still last in line.
And he's actually, he's clinging to that draft. I was worried he was a little too far back, but he's got Mason Kane in the 31, not too far ahead, a couple truck lengths.
They should be good as long as he doesn't fall asleep at the wheel. Just make sure you've got a lot of throttle in it. Don't get to about half a second back and he should be fine.
Onto the back straightaway again, still dead even. You know, we haven't seen, I think last night, Connor, in the cup race, there was so much mobility that we never saw things settle down. But it has been, as far as super speedway races go, pretty settled down. We've seen movement, we've seen drivers shuffling, but then they get into these 10, 15 lap runs where they're just satisfied running how they are, clicking off laps.
Well, it's pretty easy to gridlock in these trucks where you get 2x2 and there's really not going to be any movement anywhere else. Obviously, Cameron Hearn was really the only driver we've seen make a third line work, so everyone pretty content to run in these 2x2 lines because what we're talking about, it's pretty orderly, and as far as super speedways go, pretty safe right now, even though there's still 30 trucks in this pack. But definitely, I believe the calm before the storm is what we would call this.
40 laps to go next time by. And about 35 to go is when that pit window kind of opens up, but I think drivers will wait a little bit longer.
Maybe a little bit longer, but we'll see how long. Probably not want to take too much fuel. You really would prefer to maybe take only one can if you have the opportunity to, but I don't think you're going to have the opportunity to pit in with 30 to go. If you could stretch it to maybe lap 72, 73, you could get away with one can. I don't know how much time it's going to save you. Still looking at this second line. We'll see if this pack goes from 28 to 32. Hank Caston's actually leading a pretty fast line. Gained 3/10 on the lead pack last time by.
Looking back a little bit deeper here in the field, Eric Wineland in the 21. We haven't really talked a ton about Eric Wineland tonight, but started this race in 20th place, and he rides 23rd right now. He's been as high as 19th, but really has kind of been mid-pack here and just biding his time. We've seen him do this many times here in the Area Truck Series.
Yeah, there's a number of drivers who have came from outside the top 15 and top 20 to get to the front. Elwood started 16th. He's leading this race. Harden 18th to 4th. Munsell 15th to 6th. Travis Beckman started 27th and he's in the top 10. Very easy to do here, but obviously there's been a lot of shuffling around since the last round of pit stops.
See a lot of communication going on Wineland's camera here, and that's something that you're going to do a lot more at a super speedway track than you will at other tracks throughout the season that are more rhythmic. But this one, you're going to be chatting. The information that either your spotters or teammates are giving you is pretty important to moving your way forward or avoiding accidents.
And it's one good thing when it comes to iRacing voice chat in the sim. It's especially important as super speedway to tell your competitors when a checkup's happening, and it alerts them all to lift a little bit and be ready for that. Be ready to potentially avoid something, call out when there's a wreck happening. If something happens, call out when you're pitting, what pit stall you're going in, how low or high you're going. It's all very important at a track like this to be able to communicate, whether with your teammates or with just the rest of the competition in general.
Communication is key as far as super speedway tracks go. Holding a steady wheel is another piece of it, and then knowing when to go and when not to go. And then wreck avoidance, that's always a component of these tracks. It will be.
I'm sure.
On the back straightaway here, still pretty even looking lines. truck slightly out of line. That's the 61 of Bronson Stafford. Poking the nose out for, they see the 8 of Slaughter jump back to the inside. Opens up a big hole behind the number 6 of Justin Munsell.
Joe, drivers are starting to think about getting to the bottom. As I say that, Jacob Bell says, no, the opposite of that. I'm going to go to the top. As that top line started to drop back a little bit, Anna Sogak dropped back, but here comes Jacob Bell with a push from the 88 back where he might be most comfortable pushing other drivers.
And Jacob Bell with that maneuver, an aggressive move up top. It's going to get him the lead, but for how long? He's got it for a corner, but that inside line surging the shorter way around.
We'll see if these two can fly down the back straightaway a little bit off center. Got to be completely hooked up. 88's on the rear bumper now. So close to inching clear, Jacob Bell is, but not quite there.
Working lap number 55. Again, lap 60 is when that pit window really opens, but you're going to want to go further than that for your second and final stop. The 88 and 77 chase each other down to the yellow line and take the lead away from Alan Elwood.
They did a really good job there. Really good push. The bottom, Chris Ribble kind of got off the bumper of Elwood a little bit, maybe out of temperature to give there, and it's going to get those two the lead. Now the outside lane drops back a little bit. Ricky Harden leading the top line now. Haven't seen him leading a line before, as he gets a little squirrely off the bumper of Munsell. We'll see if they can get back up there.
One of the drivers in that secondary group in 36th place is Braden Goddard. We haven't really mentioned him a lot tonight. Hasn't been super far up the order, but is one of the drivers that is in that secondary group that's making pretty decent time, but just trying to run away from the pack. And would and should use the yellow flag probably to get some of that time back.
Yeah, they won't get back up to the lead pack without a yellow, but they have made time on them. Since last I checked, they've gained 3 seconds, and also the four truck line, Caston Michael, Josh Taylor, Bobby Tinch, they've gained about a second since we last looked back. They're only about just under 3 seconds off the lead pack, so really good job by those four, making good progress.
Here they are on the back straightaway. You mentioned a couple of seconds back. That's what it looks like. Just far enough back in case something goes wrong up front. Jacob Bell leads, but here comes Ricky Harden now with a pretty good shove from the 6 of Justin Munsell.
And he just barely leads that lap by 3/1000ths of a second. We'll see if the finish is that close. It was close last night. We'll see if we get the finish at the line this time. As Harden, as quickly as he got the lead, he's going to drop back a little bit through the corner.
On board now with Justin Munsell. Watch the focus in his eyes here. He tries to shove that 15 back to the lead. Here it is.
Big push. But once again, also a big push on the bottom. Dead even. Both trucks at the front, 188 into turn number 3.
See the glint of sweat. He's working hard. And it's not physical, it's just mental, and you can break yourself out into a sweat. I've gotten out of my rig after doing some iRacing races, Connor, where I am just soaked, like I've been doing yard work for 5 hours in Florida heat. But I wasn't actually doing anything exhausting, but mentally it just wears you out.
Also depends on how much you care about this race. If you're in maybe a hosted race, you won't care, but if it's like an NIS race or a league race you care about, like area, for example, you care about this. You want to win badly, and it's intense every lap of the way. You get those puddles of sweat. It really wears on you mentally, and that's the cause of it. These drivers want to win badly. Big
Ricky Harden. Ooh, he almost got split. Justin Munsell backed out. I don't think he meant to go to the outside there, but they almost got connected in just the wrong way. 32 laps to go, and this is, when we get down to 30 to go, this is when my brain ticks over. Watch the 21 of Wineland. He couldn't get anywhere. He's middle 3 wide.
Gotta be careful. Gets back down in 2x2 line here, as still looking at that 4-car line, 4-truck line, almost there, but about to get the pit stops, and a lot of those guys on the top really not blinking. They don't want to get down quite yet, although you do see that outside line kind of fading a little bit as far as truck count. Only about 2 laps away from when you might see drivers in.
Yeah, I think some are going to stay out a little bit longer than that, just so they can short fuel, but others you might see come shortly. But we're 25 minutes away from the checker flag of this race if it goes green to the end. It has been green for 59 laps.
Watch the pushing on the bottom. Bell got out of line off the bumper of the 88, and we're starting to see a third line come to the front.
Oh.
Who's leading it?
Some drivers on pit lane. It's Kasten and Michael, and they're crashing on pit lane.
Big crash. Taylor spun around. Hank Kasten went in the grass, and that was only a 4-truck pack. That really shouldn't be happening. Oh, it was a bump from the truck at the very back, trying to see who that was.
That Hartman, maybe? No, it was not. He was on the other side of the track. Who was that? The 54, Bobby Tinch, yep.
He shoved Josh Taylor into it, and he created a 4-wide mess, and that was just not going to work.
Yeah,
and Tinch just misses pit road altogether. That's unfortunate because they were making up good ground.
Ooh,
no one else pits.
Big slide by, that was Mason Kane in the 31 ahead of Ryan Swan. By the way, Weishart's been shuffled back to 13th place in all this. After that pit stop sequence, he really never came back forward again.
He didn't really make a move to get to the front either. He kind of slotted out there, and he figured, I'm back here, the top line's going to get taken up. Might as well just kind of ride a little bit at this point. As Tinch comes to pit lane with a lot of damage on the front end. As we'll see, lap 61 this time, but that top line's still very strong. No way those guys pit.
No, you've got this advantage. You've got clear racetrack. You're going to wait for a yellow if you can. Here's Ricky Harden. Looks very calm behind the wheel right now. Almost has a little bit of a sly smile underlying there. Here comes a bunch of drivers to pit lane. It is going to be a very busy place, as it has been tonight.
Look out, Brad Slaughter really shooting it up the bottom there. Very fast in. So is Cameron Hearn. Sort out who comes in. Whoa, Mason Kane swiping across the track, but he gets into his stall cleanly, as does Scioli, who had to avoid. And all clean seems like that time.
I've been really impressed with how many trucks they've gotten on pit lane without wadding them up, as Harden and Munsell packed up together. Silverado and Tundra lead the way. Another Tundra P3, and that of Bronson Stafford. First Ford F-150, the 33 of Chris Rabel.
And Harden is pitting in, so we'll see how many other drivers he will bring in. No penalties there on pit road, the first sequence of a big pack. We'll see what happens this time. Harden comes in, he brings pretty much the entire line.
Big speed from 51 in the background, but they get it all woed on down. To here, a little bit of contact, but did we get away with it again? I think we have. But now time to get into the boxes. Oh, the 33 got some front end damage there, and Harden didn't get into his box very well.
Tom Bourne got damage in the front. He had to check up for Chambliss, who almost missed his stall, so the 16 truck's going to have a lot of damage. And look, in turn 3, a scramble getting past drivers. Look at that stack up on pit road. Roderick and the 33 of Rabel, so some drivers are going to have big front end damage. There's a scramble out of turn number 4, trying to sort out who's going to get to the front for this final run.
It is definitely a mad scramble as the rest of the field leaves pit lane. 63 laps of green flag racing. Is this where it ends as everybody gets back up to speed?
That line that pit a lap earlier, I think, is going to get the advantage just barely, but they will. Ryan Swan, the first one off pit road in the second pack, trailed by Shearer Jr., Justin Munsell, but that second line's going to come flying past.
Here they come with a big head of steam. Huge run. Look at the draft and the speed difference. We're 3 wide into 3. The 6 car on the bottom gets swarmed. So does the one in the 51. Dustin Scruggs leads the way. Mr. Where did he come from?
And this line's so far led by the drivers who haven't pit. Here comes that other smaller pack. Curhan's in there as well, as those guys peel off. Trying to see who's going to get the race lead.
Oh, the 24 is sideways. And he somehow kept it off the wall. Now the 38, though, back across the road.
Oh, man, that was extremely close there, as well as 38 sideways. Olsen misses his stall, but they're scrambling at the front. It's go time now for everyone else trying to get to the front. They're 3 wide. 21 Weiland's going to get shuffled out. At the front and all this, still Justin Anasogak and the series champ Brad Slaughter Jr. And look at Cameron Hearn. He's already gotten his way to the front through pit stops.
Brad Slaughter Jr. leads the way with Cameron Hearn pushing him. Oh, the 99's in the wall again. The 7 gets tagged in the quarter panel.
Oh, he almost came down into a number of drivers, but he keeps it off him barely again. That was extremely close.
That was about as close as you're going to get. 65 laps into this race. 25 laps to go next time by. And here comes that other group back onto the racetrack.
See, they made up a decent amount of time, but they will not stay with the lead draft. Well, actually, Ryan Olsen's got a lot of damage. He's going to struggle to stay with him. Ted Wade, this is also, they're going to get lapped here, by the way, so it doesn't matter. Watch the rejoin. Ted Wade, you can't do that. You can't rejoin like that. Oh, there's contact. Ryan Swan made contact with Chris Rabel. They're still trying to scramble to get by these guys.
There they go. Crash, turn 3.
Hank Caston, Hartman, Scruggs, Carter Coop. That was somewhat ridiculous, I would say, but somehow there's only maybe 4 or 5 trucks involved in this one.
First crash of the night, catalyzed by the truck pulling up on the racetrack. In fairness, at the blend zone, but Connor, you got to be looking in the mirror. If you blend like that, you're going to cause a crash.
Yeah, that was all caused by the stack up. It started at a turn 2. Ted Wade rejoins in front. I think Cameron Hearn went below a WO line to pass him, and he's still in the bottom line. It checks up that bottom line. It starts a whole bunch of checking up. There's also checking up on the top lane because of the black truck there. Couldn't see who that was. And Carter Coop was, I believe, the first one to go around.
Yeah, so again, here's leaving the corner here. Everybody scatters because of Ted Wade kind of blending up. Again, he's past the blend zone, but if you pull up on the racetrack like this in front of a 3-wide pack, it's going to create this jam up here. Watch the 25, the 21, then back to the 09 of Senesac. The 4 lifts up, 42 rather. He checks up the 36. That checks up the 52 into the 15, and that's where it all went wrong right here.
Was that Alan Owen in there? That's a shame. I think the 10 truck he might have gotten away with that, but that's a shame after leading all those laps. Yeah, like you said, you got to be safe for rejoining like that. It caused all that stack up. Carter Coop had nowhere to go. There's big hits there as well for the small amount of trucks we had in that. Still shocked there wasn't more trucks in that, how mad of a scramble that was, especially at the front. That can't happen. Simply can't happen.
Ted Wade's on board here.
As late as he could have. He did it very late, too. I can't imagine Cameron Hearn was expecting that so late as they were already almost passing Ted Wade there.
There's that crash in the mirror.
He's barely able to get by it as well. He might get the lucky dog out of that, actually.
4 truck is the one I wanted to ride on board with, see what he saw out the windshield. Ooh, he had to lift big time for Slaughter Jr. there, but I think they were working together pretty well. But right here, this is the decision where Cameron Hearn has to choose life or death here. Goes to the inside, has to.
Yeah, I remember Carl Owers got penalized for that in a shootout one time, but definitely the right decision. I will say this. It's almost like Ted Wade got confused because Brad Slaughter Jr. went up, so maybe Ted Wade was assuming that everyone was going to be able to go up, but Cameron Hearn wasn't clear to do that. Slaughter Jr. was, and so that made Hearn make a last-second decision there.
Whew. Well, first caution of the night, lap 65, and we're going to have just over 20 laps to go. While we have a moment, though, let's have a look at the 7 of James Scioli in the Rick's Hot Sauce truck. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings.
My personal pick would be the garlic one. I haven't had it yet, but definitely sounds the most enticing to me. But you can't beat that South Beach Heat truck. It looks pretty sporty, just like it did when he won the championship last year in the Pro Series.
You're watching the Renfield 225 on Sim TV and twitch.tv/area iRacing. 67 laps complete, and now 22 to go next time by. Our first yellow of the night for a stack up into turn 3. 4 trucks majorly involved, about 7 or 8 in total. 1 to green, lights are off on the pace truck, Connor, and just like that, we're getting set to go back green.
Truck stopped on the apron. Who is that who stopped there?
Nick Bell. What's going on here?
Might be a hardware malfunction. He was 7th. Definitely having issues. He's going to try to get back going. But don't know if he'll be allowed to get that spot back. But either way, we're going to restart this one with, about 22 laps to go here. Brad Slaughter Jr. somehow, some way, through all that chaos, found his way to the race lead. And also Travis Beckner is up there. Weishart's back up to the front. Anna Sogak has stayed up there. I think Chris Rabel's going to restart 6th, but look at the damage to the front end sustained the pit road.
Yeah, that was all from that pit lane accident and didn't take any opportunity to fix it. I'm actually surprised that he didn't hit pit lane this time through to fix that, Connor. You got a little bit of time. Might as well. It's not going to hurt you. You're going to lose some track position. I mean, look, there's still 31 trucks on the lead lap, so you lose a lot of track position, but there's enough laps left. I would have taken the trade-off in time and position to go fix some of that damage. You're not going to last very long out front with damage like that, but maybe hoping for some more attrition to climb forward.
Yeah, my personal preference would have been pit there, but 22 laps to go. He was still 6th place, short run there, obviously, but he was still able to hang up there. So I understand wanting to keep the track position. It's going to be difficult for these drivers to split them out if they don't recognize that damage. So we'll see if he can stay up there.
Going back green, lap number 69 of 90 for the Renfield 225. Green flag back in the air from the World Center of Racing. Pull those belts tight one more time, Connor. We're going back green.
I don't have belts, unfortunately, on my sim seat, but if I did, I would be pulling them tight because it's going to get wild. I thought Slaughter would get to the bottom, but he decided not to. Put Travis Beckner to the front.
Travis Beckner, Area 500 winner from 2022. It has been a long climb forward from 27th as low as 37th tonight. He has not yet led a lap. Trying to right now. Whoa, slide from the 8. Big moment there as everybody scatters.
As the 88 and Sogak so aggressive pushing, and it almost finally bit him there. Slaughter Jr. had to take evasive action. He was already getting shoved by Weishart himself, so that bumping is going to get really, really tough to do when both these lines are pinching each other like this.
Well, brought out the Larry Mack comments for more than one reason. The other one, cautions breed cautions. We went 65 laps without a yellow flag, but we can't mathematically go that far without another one, Connor. I bet you it's even sooner than that.
I'm still trying to, excuse me, I'm sorry my words a little bit because I'm so excited, but still watching for Cameron Herr, and he'd be the one to be the aggressor on the top. Weishart out of shape, but he'd be the aggressor on the top, but he's pinned in on the bottom right now. It's the worst feeling you can have.
Whoa, sideways, wow.
He gets sideways there. I'm not sure what that was, but
shove from the 3.
They got pinned in on the bottom. It's going to be tough to get back up.
It is getting pushy and shovey. More shoving than a middle school playground right now. On the outside, the 31 of Mason Kane out there on the very upper. No, that's the 87.
Justin
Michael.
Oh, I thought Dylan Lee was going to go with him, but he almost sucked the 25 truck around. I don't think anyone's familiar with the 87. That might be why he's not getting much help. The only driver up there is Garrett Grant, we haven't talked about tonight. He hasn't found his way to the front quite yet.
Oh, man, look at this hornet's nest into turn 3. 20 laps to go, 19 at the stripe.
There's Justin Lee, got to the top there. Excuse me, Dylan Lee. I don't know why I said Justin, but the 25 of Dylan Lee gets to the top. Still only 2 trucks up there. Not everyone's ready to fight on that top line just yet.
Is Jacob Bell 9th? He must have gotten his spot back. Yes, he has.
Yes, he did.
I was going to say, that would have been a heck of a climb.
He got in there to turn 3 on the pace lap coming to 1 to green, so he was able to get back up there. Whatever he had an issue with is rectified, and he's still sitting top 10.
25-87. Aired up on the upper groove. 4 is stuck on the bottom right now. We know that's not where he wants to be. He'd rather be up on the high groove. Making hay on the outside with Brad Slaughter Jr., who is currently there with help from David Weishart.
Comes that run on the top. Look at this tandem, the way they're making ground. 191 in the turn number 3. It might be the fastest sweep we've seen all night. And this is the point where you're going to be kicking yourself if you don't get the lead a line, because that top line is not going to get abandoned again by the end of this race, I don't think.
Big shove from Weishart to the 8. And we're going 3 wide. Here comes that 25 into the mix. Game on.
Weishart thought about it. Slaughter almost doored Beckner there. Weishart wanted to get up, but he did not. This is going to get really tight. Can the 25 get some more ground?
Oh, he's in the wall! And there we go.
There he goes.
Crash. 61's in it. The 42's in it, and more.
They're looking at a 2 again. Oh, they saved it. But wow, that is the big one for sure.
Man.
Whoa!
54 going for a ride.
What in the world was that?
Second caution of the night with 18 laps to go. And this one was the big one.
Travis Beckner gets the lead out of that. There's that 25. He was leading the top line, scraped the wall, and once you scrape the wall, you're kind of stuck to it. And there's no chance anyone's going to avoid it at that point.
Have a look on the Simrat Market replay here.
He had a run for sure. Maybe too much of a push from the 87 shot him up there, and there's no way you're going to avoid it at that point.
Oh, wow, that 25 got walloped that second time, didn't he?
Bobby Tinch got hit hard there, and here he is scraping a wall, and the 87 tries to check up for him, but Bronson Stafford has nowhere to go either.
Ooh, watch this 25 come around here. He's going to get hit right there by the 2, and just from one direction to the other, the 53 hard into the outside wall.
Hit.
The 54 right here gets tagged, and then he's going to get tagged again,
Whoa.
I think.
Ricky Harden, how did he get through that? But here's the 54 contact. That is iRacing.
Not legit.
No, trucks don't do that, disclaimer. But I can't believe how Dean Thompson and Ricky Harden got through there. As you see the wreck again, look how many trucks. The track just gets blocked, nowhere to go. Huge hits everywhere.
Yep.
And woo, here we go flying.
Yeah, so Ricky Harden in that 15 truck was the one that you were mentioning drove through a lot of it. Let's jump on board and see what he saw.
Him and Dean Thompson. Thompson shot the gap. I don't know if Harden got damaged, but it probably should have been a lot more. Harden the wall.
Oh, he saw it coming. He saw it before this even started.
Whoa.
Gave him that split second. What a drive through that.
Oh,
that is like
goodness.
something out of Pixar. Can you believe that, Connor?
Days of Thunder. Oh my goodness, that was incredible. That's already the Canada of the Year for wreck avoidance. Look at this. They're going everywhere, and he somehow just finds a gap out of nothing.
That was unbelievable.
And there goes Bobby Tinch.
One more time. Let's look from high above.
Look at it. The track's blocked. There is no gap. And then all of a sudden, out of nothing, here he comes.
Oh, that was cool.
It's incredible. Good job. Saves a truck and it saves his chance to go for the win. Unbelievable.
Wow. That was job well done by Ricky Harden. Well, go buy a lottery ticket, Ricky. I don't think you're going to get luckier than that.
I don't think so. I think he used up his luck. As looking at some of these drivers on the apron. Look at Travis Beckner, Brad Slaughter Jr. trying to save fuel. Probably didn't get it full, trying to save time. Is that going to come into play? Do you have enough fuel for a green-white checker?
Now, pit lane's kind of a busy place right now, mostly from crash repair. And like we said, we knew it was coming at some point, and time has come. Wad up a handful of trucks.
I think the 54 is getting an exorcism on pit road, actually.
Yeah, that's probably call the priest for that one.
Whoever did the invocation, get him back in here.
Yeah.
If we look at the leaders in turn 3, this is where we get a good glimpse of who's good on fuel and who isn't. Beckner, Slaughter, probably playing it safe and probably not so comfortable. Anna Sogak, Weishart, they're probably feeling pretty good about it. Wineland's in the same boat, probably not very comfortable. Thompson, Mason Kane also riding in the apron.
Bobby Tinch, I think unfortunately no amount of Matco tools is going to solve the damage that this truck has.
Need to find part of the deck lid too. Part of the trunk.
Braden Goddard also torn up in this one. That'll be the end of his night, most likely.
It's going to be the end of a few drivers' nights. And out of all that, Travis Beckner was the one to inch out in front of a lead over Brad Slaughter Jr., which is very important for this next coming restart.
Well, Travis Beckner will lead the field of the green as he doubles up, takes the inside line for the restart here. You're watching the Renfield 225, the Area Truck Series season opener. It has been a fight to the front all night long. Double file grooves and our most recent cautions, lap 65 and then lap 69. Travis Beckner leads. Slaughter, Weishart, and a Sogak Rabel the rest of your top 5. And we'll have 14 laps to the end. Connor, I don't think we're quite done turning him around just yet either.
I don't think so, even though we're going to have under 15 to go. We're going to have 14 to go here. But one good thing for me, I think my pick's still on. Brad Slaughter Jr., he's up there on the front row. And Cameron Hearn is still there as well in the top 10. Our picks are doing good, but along with that last. So one good thing for Hearn here is restarting 8th on the outside line. So if he wants to, he has the opportunity to go for that 3rd line.
Oh, I think he'll get there. But how long will he wait? I don't like the idea of waiting around to make your move until the white flag or even 2 or 3 laps to go. Here's why. If we get a late race caution, Connor, we have one attempt at a green-white checkered. I want track position from here to the end.
Oh, for sure. It's a risk versus reward for sure. But it's a high risk. It's not really that high a risk, actually, but it's definitely high reward. If you're the first one to that outside line, you're definitely going to be park close to the front of that line, regardless of who jumps up in front of you. But you do run a risk of something like what happened to Lee in the 25 happening, scraping the wall, causing a big one. It can happen, but I'm very confident Cameron Hearn to be able to make that work. We'll see.
14 laps to go from Daytona, the season opener for the Area Truck Series. Green flag back in the air. Beckner leads him back, and they got a good launch, but is it too much?
Definitely out there, but I don't think Anna Sogak will be able to go anywhere. It almost looked like he wanted to get in front of the Ada Slaughter Jr., but didn't.
Oh, sideways behind him. The 25 goes around up and sideways. And
no caution.
We will stay green for now. He's on the apron, out of the way.
I don't know what that was about. That was contact with Edward Shearer Jr. Garrett Grant got some damage in that as well, but once again, we stay green.
Yeah, just checking up. Drivers not really knowing what was going on there for the restart. Up front, though, Brad Slaughter Jr. gets a push from Weishart, takes him to the lead.
He's going to stay in the middle. I think someone would have dropped to the bottom earlier, but not this time. Weishart drops to the bottom to take the lead away as Cameron Hearn is weaving lane between
behind him, Wineland. Sideways and scattering. No, they're not going to save it. Crash at the stripe.
No yellow yet. They're spinning still. Curhan's in the grass. The 87's in the grass. And the yellow's thrown manually. It had to be thrown.
Yep, everybody's scattered. Wineland ends up bouncing off the fence. And more. Third caution of the night. Let's have a look.
That all started at turn number 4. It looked like a bad push. Senesac to Wineland. Look how close. Look how long he fishtailed, but just couldn't keep it straight fully.
Yeah,
just takes out a few others.
Sometimes you're on the road looking at the scenery, and sometimes you're in the scenery looking at the road.
That was a big stack up. We get another view of that. The stack up out of 4 was huge. He slammed the back of Cameron Hearn.
And here's a look. So watch the 7 right here. 4, there's the stack up. The 09 just gets the 21. He gets into the 33, and then he goes to the outside here. Gets
Slaps
the 3.
Irvin still fishtailing it. There's Curhan getting him once into the wall, back down, back into Curhan.
Yeah, and the 24, I think, got some of the worst of this, and then comes down the racetrack, picks up the 87. Through the grass they went.
And that was actually a word from admins. That was not that was an accidental caution wave, but at the same time, I mean, that is a yellow.
Yeah, that's a
even
crash.
If it's not. It's definitely a crash. Obviously, admin yellows probably aren't meant to be thrown, but I'm okay with it in this sense. The other one was just single truck spin. This was a pretty big crash, 4 or 5 trucks. I understand this one.
All the way down to pit lane.
It was not your pit, sir. Look at this. That's not what we want to see coming through the tri-oval.
No.
Who slammed the wall back there? I think that was the 99 again. He's been in that wall a few times tonight, unfortunately.
So third caution of the night, and with that, we'll take an opportunity here to run back through some of the highlights of the night, but not before we one final spot here. Race fans, be sure to check out shop.areairacing.com for merchandise to represent your favorite drivers and teams. Shop from our brand new selections of champion t-shirts, jackets, hats, and more. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's the shop.areairacing.com promise. All right, let's go back and look at some of the moments from tonight's event all the way back on lap number 11. How about this moment here between James Scioli, Cameron Hearn? Watch the 4 and the 8. Lingering back here, and this is the 11. They went 3 wide early on in this race. Slicing and dicing through the middle.
Definitely the aggressor.
A little bit later, here's Justin Adesogak and AJ Roderick with a big shove, trying to get up to the lead. They did so. Then Charles Canita in the 43 on pit lane gets tagged by the 75. He goes around for a slip and a slide. Chris Rabel almost gets turned around here off the rear bumper of the 10. That was a close moment. More recently, lap 60, Justin Michael coming onto pit lane. This group all together. Big stack up mistakes made by this group that was chasing down the front pack onto pit road.
Bobby Tinch with being the main aggressor there. Just nothing he can do when he gets shoved in the pit lane.
Chris Rabel in this one as well, Connor. Pit lane sequence got some major front end damage in this cycle.
And he just came down to pit road to repair that, I assume, because he saw another wreck. He did it now. Surprised he did it now, but this is where he got that damage. The 56 of AJ Roderick almost missing his stall right there, hitting the brakes because he's missing his stall, or at least he thinks he is. Nowhere for the 33 to go.
8 slides down in front of the 4. There's Travis Beckner on the outside. leading the line, and Beckner a couple laps later almost gets jumped by the 88 after this restart. This is lap 69. Watch this. Right there.
Ooh.
Big moment.
Even on the outside as well.
And Dylan Lee in the 25. This was one of our more recent yellow flags. Up to the outside, gets in the wall, and Connor from there, pandemonium.
Definitely the big one of the night. He was making good ground on that top line, but maybe too big of a run for these trucks with the handling. Not very good. Just washes out the track there, scrapes it, you're stuck to it, it's over from there. And this was definitely the big one of the night, taking out so many fast trucks. Greg Mitchell in there, Munsell as well. The Bobby Tinch is going to go for a huge ride right there into the sky.
Matco Tools truck needs a lot of tools. 1 to green already. We're paired up, re-racked, restacked. 9 laps left in this one now.
And Brad Slaughter Jr. Maintains the lead. Weishart's going to be second. Not a good sequence for Beckner. He gets, unfortunately, slotted back to 4th place and all that, so a little bit more work to do if he wants to get the front. But look at the two on road number 3 together, Justin Anasogak, Cameron Hearn. We've talked about them all night, the two aggressors of the night. If they want to get linked up, now's the time to do it.
Well, it's go time, Connor. No time to really gear up for it. As soon as this green flag drops, you're going.
No doubt about it. We'll see if any blocking maybe gets any bigger. It's hard to block enough in these trucks, but if you're not committed to one lane, you think your lane's not going to get you to win. Brad Slaughter Jr. might want to try to control these 2 lanes. It's so difficult to do because it's very unlikely Weishart is going to put up with that. And Travis Beckner is another one who probably won't put up with that, but controlling the lanes might be something Brad Slaughter Jr. has to try to do if he wants to win this one.
Pace truck is going to pull off. If we go about 5 or 6 laps and get another caution, it may be our second to last. Again, we have 1 attempt at green-white checker. If we go into overtime, lap 82 of 90 on this restart, Brad Slaughter Jr. brings them back to the green at Daytona.
Immediately up to the top lane, gonna ditch James Scioli, who got damage from that big one. The right side completely totaled, and look at Beckner. He's gonna force his way to the top.
Travis Beckner, 3 abreast, and here comes Mr. Highside. Behind him, the 3.
Oh no, there's a 3, and they're still in the wall. Beckner's in the wall, and they're still stacking up, but they somehow didn't crash. James Scioli gets the lead out of all this.
Where did he come from? Now they go 3 abreast down the backstretch. Slaughter Jr. defending in the middle. That was a wild restart, and it's not done yet. Oh, behind him, there goes the 28 to the 5. Hardin to the wall. Hearn gets clobbered up in it too. Hardin and more.
Beckner, Swan, Hardin could not avoid this one. Wow, that was action from the very beginning, and Cameron Hearn is destroyed, as is Dean Thompson. He's stuck on the banking.
Yep.
Oh, he's got to go now, but wow. That started before we even got to the line.
3/4 of a lap of a crash that just never quite finished.
And it won't be a green-white checkered. We still at least might have more than 1 restart. Who is the lead out of all this? Still Scioli, maybe.
So watch the 28 here. The 09 tried to go middle there, Connor. No space for that. 28 Dean a victim in that one.
So is Dean Thompson. He's unfortunately all too familiar with big hits as of late in that 5 truck, because we'll have to see what happened 1 and 2, but that's really what it stemmed from. All sorts of stacking up. Beckner was in the wall, and you see Senesac has a pretty big gap. It just gets chopped a bit too late. I think the 09 was solidly in there, and at this point it's time to go. You got to take those. Cameron Hearn, obviously a victim in that as well.
Oh man, who slid
that?
Through there? Is that the 9 that drove through there like that? Yeah, Devin Schillingberg. Right on board with him and see what his perspective was of that, but he got almost as lucky as the 15 did on that prior wreck.
Yeah, it's happening well in front of him as well. He probably lifted after the huge almost wreck in 1 and 2.
Oh, he got hit a little bit and kind of hit his trajectory chosen for him, I think.
He definitely got some damage from that, but I think it could have been a lot worse. I think that might have been Kaneda who hit him.
And here's Cameron Hearn, who had just absolutely nowhere to go. And you have to feel for him.
Yeah, he actually gives Beckner a shove to make that move. Just too late. Dean Thompson just comes up right in front of him.
That is a big hit. And then the 5, as you mentioned, Dean Thompson. Here's what he saw.
he was so close to clearing this too. He's been laying back. He got to the front almost at the right time. And right here, bam.
And in a split second, you go from facing forward at 180 to facing backwards at 150.
Yeah, wild ride for a number of drivers. Still, that was wild. Like we said, that was wild before we even got out of a trial. Well, not sure what happened. Although I know Beckner tried to get to the top, but there was a lot going on there.
And I fear for Dean Thompson that with the smoke trailing that truck, 5 Tundra is done for the day.
I would think so, which is a shame. He got, like we said, we got to the front when it mattered most, and he was there. It's unfortunately just did not work out. Poor Jacob Bell, and he's also destroyed in his 100th start. I think he was looking really solid, top 5 for a lot, but start number 100 is not going to be win number 1 in area, unfortunately. And her and Beckner at the front so long. Ricky Harden, big extensive repair.
Man, look at
a lot of
pit lane.
contenders. It's a junkyard.
It
folks.
is a junkyard, and we went 65 laps without a yellow, but when the floodgates opened, in came the downpour, and we have about 21 trucks that are not in pit lane. That leaves 21 that are on pit lane.
We got trucks on pit lane damage. We got trucks leading damage. Sky Hotley has that right side damage, but out of all that, he did get the race lead. He's going to restart on the outside with 5 laps to go, and Slaughter Jr., Weishart, and Asogak still there. Contender's still there. Even Senesak's up there, and not enough damage for him to pit.
Justin Asogak has been a constant tonight. So has Weishart and Brad Slaughter Jr. James Scioli was pretty quiet for the first part of this race. Now late in the going, finds himself in the mix.
It is absolutely wild how long we can go with no wrecks, and all of a sudden we're only 20 laps later, and it's hard to find a truck without damage. Slaughter Jr.'s clean, and Asogak's clean, Weishart. That might be it. There's 3 trucks.
Mason Kane, the left side of that thing is torn to pieces.
Oh my
7th.
goodness. Almost everyone's got front end damage except for Mason Kane. Swan, Chambliss has some damage really from pit road. Kaneda, Elwood, Schillenberg, Chris Rabel, everyone has damage. Danny, where does he look clean? He might be the 4th truck that's clean. He looks somewhat okay. So maybe 4 trucks. Maybe 4 trucks clean.
Well, 5 laps to go at the restart. Even still, if we get an immediate yellow, we could still have another 2 yellows. I think the drivers would like to build some more momentum here.
This is sort of what we had last night, where we got 1 yellow, and then after a little bit of a while, we did not get out of turn number 2. Got out of 2 that time, but didn't get through 3. Hoping for a little bit better this time. Few new players at the front, but the main constants, Slaughter, Weishart, and Asogak still lurking.
Here we go. 5 laps remain in the Renfield 225 from Daytona International Speedway. Back green, back to racing. 5 laps to go from the World Center of Racing.
You see Scioli's damage kind of hurting him on this initial restart. Slaughter Jr. should be able to get to the lead with the 88 behind him.
Oh, behind him, crash,
oh,
43.
Whoa! I thought someone was going to go up and over. Kaneda, Shearer Jr., Dylan Lee, Bell swerves through it. Schillenberg spinning.
Yeah, I saw this one coming. It was the same exact scenario that we just saw. This time, this is drivers that are getting big runs, Connor, and they just don't know how to not take them. Watch the 87 here. He gets this big run, and he starts shooting the middle here. And this is always going to end in disaster.
Exactly what we saw last night. The 43 didn't even really move his line. He just kind of drove into him. Maybe the 43 wasn't committed to middle or top. He also probably wasn't prepared to have to commit to one of those lines, and that's going to happen every single time.
Yeah, look at the gap he's got laying back here on this restart, and this is something that drivers have to be responsible for being packed up, because when you get these big runs, Connor, not because you out-accelerated him, it's because you jumped the restart here. And then he goes to the middle. There's just nowhere to go there. You had no help behind you, and we just wadded up another 5 or 10 trucks because of some impatience here, unfortunately.
I can't blame for the impatience, obviously. It's late, and you got to get the front somehow. I understand that, but there was no lane there. In the 43, it's not like he even blocked. He ran his line, and he got driven through, which is unfortunate. Chris Verbal so close to flipping there, but fortunate not to. And this will definitely put us in green-white checkered territory, and that was not a good restart for Scioli with the quick yellow. That takes him completely off the front row. Brad Slaughter Jr. Reclaims the lead.
Well, there's a rule in racing, Connor, that I subscribe to at the Grid Life side of things, that don't hit anything you can see. And I've seen a couple violations of that. Senesac in the prior. That was a little bit different of a scenario, I think, but already at racing speed, the run from draft versus a restart. But anything that you have control to not hit in your windshield, you should do the best to not hit.
Yeah, that was definitely a scenario where you saw the truck and still ran through the truck in front of you. Definitely can happen, so unfortunate, but it will put us in a green-white checkered scenario. The question now is, do we get farther than 2 turns on this green-white checkered attempt, as we did not last night? We'll see if we do tonight, as a lot of drivers try to get their final repairs in before this final restart.
Well, this is, as you mentioned, going to put us into overtime, so this will count as our overtime scenario. So we're going to go at least 1 extra lap. Chris Rabel was torn up in that. He already had some
flipped.
Yeah, he already had some prior damage, but that will basically finish that truck off as far as competing for the win. Our front 4 or 5 didn't really change a whole lot. I want to keep our eyes on the 16 of Tom Bourne.
Where's he been?
He's been lingering, but as of late, found his way to the front.
I believe that front end damage is not from an on-track crash. I believe that was from pit road hitting Brian Chambliss, so he's been able to maintain with what he has, and he finds himself in the top 5, which is the best on-bound track position because it could come down to a photo finish down the back straightaway again. And we'll see if the drivers at the front are aware of that, if they want to stay in 2x2 lines out of 2, or they might go 3 wide trying to inch out ahead just in case that yellow comes out.
This is what I talked about earlier. When you get down to 10, 15 laps to go, track position is your friend. Because at this stage of this race, the caution could come out immediately. The race is over, and we saw how that happened last night. You got to be up in the front 2 rows. You got to make those first 2 corners count. If I'm Scioli, if I'm Weishart, I'm gearing up to get through those gears as smooth as I can because you're not going to get a lot of opportunity. I would put it 70-30, maybe 75-25 that this race ends under yellow. So get ready because you don't have a lot of time to get there.
Scioli, we saw in that last restart, he does not take off well, as we are 1 to green here. As we'll see, Slaughter not really committing to a line. He will take the top, so that puts Anna Sogak with the 7 truck, and that puts David Weishart in the driver's seat, I think, here to get clear and maybe fight the 8 truck.
So, overtime now. We're going to have a 91-lap race instead of a 90-lap race.
Extra 2.5 miles, no problem. Shouldn't be a problem for fuel. I haven't seen anyone on the apron as of late.
No, only 28 laps on Mason Kane, who's got the oldest fuel in the field.
You do got to think some people did under fuel for track position on that final green flag stop, but I don't, like I said, I don't think that will be an issue anymore of all the yellows we've had.
Well, it's almost an inevitability that you get those late race cautions and the possibility for an overtime. So I have to wonder if that changes the fueling strategy a little bit. Yeah, I mean, short fuel is a great idea for track position, Connor, which I said you wanted, but you also can't count on it going green to the end.
No, you can't, for sure. And that was definitely something I paid attention to last night. I made sure I had enough fuel for that green-white checkered at least, because you almost know that it can't go green to the end with how wild the racing can get.
And it is a known value, right? Unlike in the real world where you've got unlimited attempts, which is basically destined to create chaos on purpose. One attempt, it's a planned distance. The most you could run over is about 3 or 4 laps, but you can't go 10, 12, 15 laps over, which is what would really get you in trouble. So 2 laps to go, 5 miles. If the caution comes out, the race is over. The race is frozen at the time of caution. Brad Slaughter Jr., Justin and Sogak are up front. 2 laps to go in the Renfield 225. We're back green.
Senesac gets to the bottom. It's only those 2 up there. Could be good for the 88. Oh, Slaughter wanted to get to the bottom. Couldn't. He almost chopped the 88 and Sogak to the lead.
Justin and Sogak takes the run to 09. Look out as Tom Bourne that almost slipped into the inside. David Weishart gearing up for a run here to the checkers as well.
Guys, watch that second pack very slow. Hopefully they don't ruin this, but look at the run down the back straightaway on the top. Slaughter Jr. reclaims that lead. Ooh, shoot in the middle there. That was almost Alan Elwood, but they keep it clean. Maybe about 10 trucks or so competing for this one.
There is a mile back to the stripe. If they can get there, we're going all the way to the checkers. Up top goes who is that way up top there? Is that the 31 of Mason Kane with all that right side damage, left side damage? Here they come. White flag will race into the checkers at Daytona. 1 lap to go in the Renfield 225.
9 trucks in one pack, and any one of them can win it. Kane's still trying the top, but he doesn't have any sort of push up there. It's really down to 2 lanes. Not enough trucks to make a 3rd lane.
Yeah, what do you do? How do you build a run here? The 29 of Weishart has to back up. The 8 is backing up. Great strategy here. They have to build a run.
Does he block? Does the 88 block? I don't think you can this late. He's thinking about it, but he doesn't. Run for the 8. Here they come.
It's going to be side by each into turn 3. A mile back to the checkered flag here. Still side by side for the lead.
And 88's going to get a run through the corner, but the 8's going to have to run off of 4. Can the 88 do anything?
Well, there they go! They save it, no!
Slaughter doesn't have help. Scioli's got the push to the 88, and Justin Anasogak is going to win at Daytona.
Scioli, 2nd. Slaughter, 3rd. Tom Bourne, Senesac, and the 29 of Weishart is going to try to scrape back inside the top 15 as there's more piling in behind him and gets clobbered right at the checkers.
They wrecked in the 2nd pack, too. Another big hit for Irvin. That's what can happen. That was wild. Wow.
Justin Anasogak wins at Daytona. Gloves coming off. Weishart so close, pushing the 8. Got hooked. We'll go back and look at it. Don't worry.
Jacob Bell crosses the line at 8 miles per hour. A lot of drivers got taken out in that, but he was one of the fastest drivers, not just obviously truck-wise, because but he was one of the aggressors tonight. Only led 11 laps, but that doesn't tell the whole story. He was at the front, top 3, top 5 all race long.
Travis Beckner giving a congratulatory bump. He comes home 12th in the 28 truck. We'll go back and watch it again. But for now, time to watch Justin Anasogak celebrate. Connor, when is the last time, if you can look that up, that Anasogak has won a race, or has he?
At least in a truck series, he has not won a race. So this is going to be his first truck win in total, I believe. So really, really big moment for him to get this first win in the truck series. Comfortably should put him in the playoffs. What a big one. What a big way to do it at the World Center of Racing. No doubt. And as I go back to try to look at total wins in area altogether, he has a few. Actually, no, he only had the 1 win before. So his 2nd career win in area as a total. He deserves new burnouts.
I'm sure he's going to enjoy it. We'll talk to him here in just a moment's time. Let's go back here and look, though, at the run back to the checkers. It was a wild one, certifiably. Let's have a look at this last lap into turn 3. They were dead even. Weishart pushing Slaughter Jr. But then out of 4, does the 09 get the 29 here?
Push from Tom Bourne into the 7, maybe. Yep, up the track into Weishart, and that killed Brad Slaughter Jr.'s push. Scioli was with the 88, and there was nothing Slaughter could do at that point.
Yeah, and Weishart got turned, thought he might have made it through, and then gets absolutely just blindsided by the 10 right here. Bam!
Yeah. And that wasn't it for him either. Oh, wow!
What happened
the
there?
He killed the wall there that Elwood did. That was a wild hit.
Oh, wow, there it is.
Put him all the way back above the double yellow line. He hit so hard. Dead on. Wow.
28th place for Elwood and right across the nose of the 29. And then he comes back onto the racetrack while the rest of the field comes into shot. There they are in the background, and they came across the stripe, hooting and hollering, slicing and dicing and diving.
Yeah, they wrecked before they even got to the 10.
Oh, he got hit again. That's what happened to Elwood.
And so did Weishart, I believe, as well. Yeah, there was nothing he could do. He could have reset, but he might have been trying to still get it back going to get to the line, maybe. Well, he turned right there.
Jacob Bell had nowhere. He didn't see it until the last moment, Connor.
That's why he crossed the line at 10 miles an hour. Watch this. See, you can't even really see him from there. Out of nowhere. The truck just right in front of you, and you hit him going full song.
Now that was a big one.
That was a huge hit.
Yeah,
And
right here.
Weishart got hit as well, but it was not bigger than that.
Oh.
AJ Roderick nowhere to go either.
Man, what an impact. What a race finish, though. That was a wild one here from Daytona. Let's talk to our finishers here. Let's first chat with our third place driver. Almost tasted the lead coming out of turn 4, but Brad Slaughter Jr. just shy, a tenth of a second shy of winning this one. Brad, big push there from the 29 of Weishart, but not quite enough. Take us through it.
Yeah, man, I just keep feeling like I'm putting myself in the right position, and I don't get the result, man. That's tough. 2 nights in a row. I think I'm in the right spot, right where I want to be, and just come up a little bit short. But that was a fun race. Happy for Justin. That's cool that he won that race. So if I'm gonna lose it to anybody, I'm happy to lose it to him.
Well, take us back to that final restart, because we know how important track position is. You started right up on that front row, and we know that the chances for a yellow flag are always existent in these late going here in these super speedway races. So were you hoping for a yellow, or hoping you could race it out and just needed a couple more feet?
I mean, last night I was hoping for a yellow, and it didn't really. It came just a few seconds too late. So really, I was hoping to race that one out. I thought I was being there on the middle lane on the top. I guess I felt like I was in pretty prime position, having David behind me too. He was doing a really great job of pushing me, and we were also doing a great job. All of us, James, Bryce, and David, we were doing a great job of working the teammate strategy tonight, and just trying to manipulate the stuff there at the end. But yeah, I thought I was in a good spot there. I thought we were getting ready to have the run coming off of 4, coming back to the line. I thought David was getting ready to come to me. I was going to side draft Justin just a little bit and try to get that run. I thought we had it, and I see David got a little bit of net code there in the left rear and got turned and kind of killed all of our momentum. But great night overall. We got really good team points with me and James up there, 2-3. So that's a really good start to the season. We're already up there in top 5 in points. Got the top 5 out of the way, so can't complain too much. But man, it's tough to keep being right there and not getting it.
So close. P3 for the number 8. Hey, Brad, thanks for chatting with us. Good luck to you next week. We'll see you there.
Thank you, guys.
James Scioli brought it home in second place. He pushed the 88 to the win. James, tonight was a fight. Basically 2 lines stuck side by side most of the night. But in the late going, you were able to shove your way through and then shove the 88 to the win. Would it or could it have played out any differently for you to get one spot better?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's we were trying to get all of us lined up. Me, Bryce, David, and Brad, obviously all DWR, just trying to get hooked up together. And they had the 3 of them on the outside there into that last restart. And I was going to try and get up and maybe leave the 88 if I could and just try and make sure that DWR secured the win. But Justin, he made on Thursday, so I was happy to just, once I didn't have a hole, to just sit behind him and just try and shove him and see what happened if they started wrecking or anything, see if I had a lane. Never really got the opportunity, but this one feels like a win after, I don't know, I've had some pretty bad plate luck. I always feel like I am close to the front and it never seems to work out. So being able to push him to his first career win is that's pretty cool.
Well, James, great points night as well, P2 to kick things off for the season. So congratulations on that, and you survived with minimal damage to that Rick's Hot Sauce Chevrolet as well. So great work tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys, and I want to say a big thanks to you guys and the admins for everything you guys do, ready for this season to get fully underway, and you guys do a great job. And then Rick's Hot Sauce, code Scioli, $7 off any order at checkout. Dandles Candles, Butt Kicker, Chris Sports Cards, and Matco Tools. Thanks to all of them for being on the car, and hopefully we go one spot better next week.
P2 for the number 7. James, thanks for talking. We'll see you there.
Thanks, guys.
And first career win in the Area Truck Series gets it done for the first time. Justin Esogak, congratulations. 83 thousandths of a second and a push from the 7 of James Scioli. Congratulations. What are you feeling right now? That had to be a big relief and a weight off your shoulders tonight.
Oh, man. Like, as soon as we came across that finish line, I was like, let's fucking go! And then it's like, huge shout out to James. You know, he said on the restart he was going to push me all the way to the end, so big shout out to him. And man, I'm just shaking right now. I'm standing up. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what to do with my hands. First win in the trucks, man. It was wild.
Well, starting off amped for the season, it's a pretty good shoe-in for a playoff spot as well. When you look forward for the rest of the season, does this shift your focus at all? And I'm sure it'll give you some momentum going into the next round.
Oh yeah, man. Getting into the playoffs, I guess, stay in the top 20 in points. I think I can do that. So big weight off my shoulders Last 2 seasons, I've been right at the cutoff at Talladega every single time. So I'm just glad I finished Daytona for once. It took me 15 tries and all my league races, and I finally finished the race and won. So, and shout out to JBR coming on board with him. You know, we did a really, really good job staying up prep all night. I know they got in wrecks, but shout out to those guys. Man, it was fun.
15 tries, gets it done. Justin Sogak in victory lane here at Daytona, the World Center of Racing. Trophy goes to you, Justin. Congrats. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, Connor, he's obviously amped, which is awesome to see. Feeling very successful after a night of racing. Here's one last look down at results. Pretty interesting night, all things considered. Lots of issues there towards the end. Some drivers that were running well that did not finish well. But here's those that did. How about Carter Koop, rebounding from being a lap down early for an 8th place result, and Brian Chambliss up into 7th, crept in there.
We didn't see the race results earlier, but we also didn't see a lot of these drivers who finished top 10 a lot. Brian Chambliss did not talk about him a lot at all, but P7, good job for him. Dustin Scruggs, where did he come from to get 9th? And Michael Curhan was totaled, and he still got a top 10.
Travis Beckner was involved in a wreck late in the going, P12 for him. Garrett Grant, don't think we mentioned his name once tonight. 13th place for the 42. Ryan Olson, another driver that was lingering towards the back. David Weishart, P16. Frustrating end after coming out of turn 4, P3.
And look at Dylan Lee, kind of triggered the big one accidentally there. It still recovers for 15th. I'm sure he'll take that. Danny Ware had one of the cleaner trucks until the very end, I believe. 19th. Swerven Irvin, top 10 all night. Unfortunately, 18th. Ted Wade, who may have caused an incident with his entrance back on track. He did recover for a nice 17th place. And Cameron Hearn, one of the other aggressors tonight, running out the top 20. As you see a lot of drivers on this list specifically who ran well but did not get the finish they deserved.
Yeah, Ricky Hardin, one of them, Chris Rabel, Alan Elwood, Dustin Munsell, Jacob Bell, too. Big hit there towards the end. One of those moments where you're thankful it's digital. That would have been a bad one. So he comes home in position number 24. AJ Roderick down there in 30th. Frustrating end for him. And then, Connor, this is 31 through 40. Eric Wineland, 32nd. Dean Thompson, and others that had good runs going but couldn't finish it out.
And Bobby Tinch, who went flying 39th, he was at the back a long time and making good lap time, but just could not get in a good position at the end of this race. And Logan Hartman also out early, as well as Dawson Miller, who was out really before we got the lap 5 with, I believe he had hardware issues, but I'm not fully sure about that. But fortunate for Bell, 100th start, unfortunately won't go down as a great one, but it's virtual, and he'll live to fight another race. What a race, Kyle.
That was a fun one. It's a kickoff for the Area Truck Series this season. The Renfield 225 is complete. Connor, final thoughts on this before we head to next round. We also have racing on Thursday with the B Series cars. That should be a lot of fun here at Daytona, as it always is.
I believe I'm there for you too. So
yep.
triple header this week. So very busy. I was not as busy as I was during a Cup race, but I like putting notes down. But what a race! Completely different from what we saw in Cup. We saw the lines very close together all night long, not spread out a lane like we saw the other night. Not as big of runs, but I think that also proved for a lot more wrecking. I think we talked about that at the beginning of the race. These cars being so packed up and not being as spread out, it's going to cause for bigger wrecks, and that happened. Took a while for that to happen, but it did eventually lead to more and more yellows, and just a wild finish. Even though 9 trucks were in that final group, it still provided a great finish, and just a big congratulations to go to that man, Justin Anasogak. I believe he becomes the 19th different winner in the Area Truck Series, and that puts him in the playoffs pretty big to get it done early.
Well, another winner down, another week to go, many more to crown a champion, but Anasogak puts himself in the playoff picture early here from Daytona. Thanks so much for watching here on Sim TV. I'm Kyle Heyer with Connor Horn. We'll see you next time.
Mr. Renfield, welcome. I am Dracula. You will make a very good assistant.
No, he's evil. We will protect you.
You have the word of the most trusted institution on earth, the Catholic Church.
Renfield, you saw purpose in life. is to serve me. Now, let's eat.
I just want a normal life again. No, 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 no.
God bless you, Mr. Renfield.
Oh, God bless you, nuns.
You're a hero.
Robert Montague Renfield. Let me explain. I work for Dracula.
Count Dracula.
It's the real fucking Dracula.
Some call me the Dark One. Others, the Lord of Death.
So you bring in people to eat?
Well, I do other stuff.
Like what? Wash his cape?
The cape is dry clean only, strictly.
Yeah, I will wear this shit. This fly, yeah.
Look, I don't think he's such a bad guy. But you're never really gonna be free until you face him.
I will no longer tolerate abuse. I deserve happiness.
Let me explain something to you, okay? You deserve only suffering. I will unleash an army of death. Everyone you care about will suffer because you betrayed me.
We have to stop him before sunset.
I am enough. I deserve happiness, and I take full charge of
My life today.
You know when something crazy happens and someone's like, it's okay, I've seen way worse? Everything I saw you do today is gonna be my way worse.
It's my least favorite part of the job.